When the elements align, magic can happen. Behold, the Selector venue. In a southwestern corner of Revelstoke Mountain Resort lies this megalithic sculpture, constructed by ever-changing snow conditions and the spark of human creativity. The world's best riders have made the pilgrimage to make an offering of spirit, of style, and of self. What comes next is far more than competition. It's a connection to something much larger than themselves. This is where their stories are written.
Wow.
Legends created and victors named. This is natural selection.
It's time to press pause on life. Promise your partner something special, mute notifications on your phone. Bribe the kids with some high fructose corn syrup and give the dog a juicy bone. Do whatever it takes to clear the next 3 hours, because the best snowboarders in the world are about to throw down on an epic venue in perfect conditions. This is the YETI Natural Selection live from Revelstoke Mountain Resort, and it is about to go bananas. Okay, if you want to follow us behind the scenes, you can on all of the usual social channels, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just look up Natural Selection. You can see the Canadian flag fluttering in the breeze there as we make our way up to the East venue, a brand new course for finals today. Joining me in the studio, as always, we have two of the most recognizable people in snowboarding. Over there, Mary Walsh. Some people think she's the love child of Chuck Barfoot and Tina Bassick. Others say she has P-Tex on the soles of her feet. All we know is that if you cut her open, she bleeds snowboarding. And then sat next to her, Officer Richards, head of the Snowboarding Style Crimes Task Force. We owe you a debt of gratitude, Mr. Richards, for your tireless work in calling out frontside indies and tail fishes.
You better be careful, Ed. You could be under arrest by the time this whole thing is over.
I'm pretty close to getting deported, I think. Are you excited about today? Like yesterday, Mary, was just a warm-up. Today is finals.
I mean, that's what's great. If yesterday is a warm-up, what in the world are we going to see today? I mean, we had some of the biggest moments I think we've seen in natural selection yet. I know we say that every year, but it was amazing. The riders really put on a show. The new format delivered some really interesting strategy. Riders were sending it. I mean, and today we're moving into even gnarlier terrain.
Yeah, and that's what I think is so cool about today is yesterday was maybe more like not park jump, but just like more groom jump centric riding. Today, you're going to have speed control. The terrain is bigger. The consequences are bigger. A lot more exciting for the viewer.
Okay, we're going to start with a little recap from yesterday, and it's the most succulent morsel on the bone. The BOA Dialed In Award for $5,000 was decided for the men and women, and Mikey Ciccaerelli has taken it out from that first day of competition. Unbelievable run.
I mean, come on. Psycho Mike in full go mode.
Fuck yeah!
Here, there it is, the war cry of natural selection. Mikey, one of the first to come down this course. Incredible switch 3 into a switchback 5 into just the shout heard across social media.
Yeah, he channeled his inner William Wallace there, didn't he? Now, the women's, what do you think? For me, it's pretty obvious on this one.
Oh my God, it's got to be Elena Hight. I mean, she came and delivered round 2 for the women. You know, she stepped to this massive line right here, really just showing Elena Hight is going to do what Elena Hight does, and it bumped her right into the semis today. I mean, this was an incredible, no hesitation. Look at her navigating this band.
And for my money,
massive.
that's not just the women's boa dialed moment of the day. It's also top 4 runs of the day for me, male or female. Now, I mentioned it very quickly at the top. We're on a brand new venue today, so let's take a quick look at it. It's the east side of Montana Bowl, the selector venue, and we can highlight a couple of pictures here. So you can see the portal, top left-hand side of your screen. You've got that big blue zone. That's what we're looking at now. No man's land in the middle there divides the west and east venues. So you've got 2 tiny little red zones that are closed. The far east is a brand new zone. High beams named after Hannah Beeman. After Bang named after Mikkel Bang. You've got brand new areas in the brick, the pyramid, and the high 5 hallways. Bar fight closed last year. Hell Flute closed. Those areas on the looker's right, so steep.
Yeah, it's super steep, and you're going to be delivered a one-way ticket to Ragdad if you don't get your line perfect. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I mean, it's incredibly spicy, and in the other side of the venue yesterday, we had some riders who had experienced it before in last year's contest. This year, it's really open. There's much less experience. The majority of the field has not ridden this at all.
Yeah, I think it's just Nils, Mindnich, and Torgeir Bergrem. Let's take a look at the rider's eye view of it now. We've been flying the drone around it this morning, so we can take a look at some of the features. That gives you a really good idea of the bowling ball effect to the slope, the way it rolls off into that exposure. But look at these pillows.
Options on options. And today, I really do feel like it's going to be about speed management. You come into some of these features going hot, and you're going to go 3 times as big as you think you are. So you got to be looking down the line to see what you're going to be hitting and be able to manage that speed.
And to that end, like the studying that the riders have done in the last couple of days to get ready, all the photos and videos they've been able to view to get ready to find these lines and translating that into the route finding on hill, that's going to make the difference.
Okay, well, alongside Todd, Mary, and I in the studio, we've also got 2 members of the team out on snow. Stan Levier's at the bottom of the hill, but up at the top of the hill, it is Hannah Beeman. She's got the Oakley weather check today, and she's also got that zone of the course named after her. Let's go up to the top now and find out what High Beams is up to. What's the vibe like?
Hey guys, today the vibe is a little higher frequency up here. You can feel a little bit more palpable energy, and the riders are all up here scoping their first features that they're gonna hit this, for finals. And I mean, you can feel it. Everybody's really excited. We got an awesome course. Snow safety, the ski patrol just briefed everybody about snow conditions and snow safety down on the course. And as you can see, we got a little bit more of a dusting last night. It's still snowing, all these beautiful snowflakes, kind of a little bit more wind up here, but it's all in all looking good. Hoping we don't get that fog we saw yesterday. But I don't know, how's it looking down at the bottom of the course, Stan? What are you wearing today?
Hey, Hannah. I really do love how invested you are in my outfit, but of course, today, still the rose-colored lenses. Not that you would need any sort of rose-colored lens to enjoy the show that's about to go down on the east side. We got a little snow down here, but the black strap clava, of course, keeping the face warm. But I really am excited today, the second act of natural selection, and a little bit of a clean slate, whereas yesterday, a lot of the riders had hit that venue before. Today, honestly, pretty wide open game. And so I think, this section called Bar Fight that was closed last time, wide open now. The talk from the riders, who's going straight for it? And I have a feeling it might be all of them.
Great bit of intel there. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Stan. Resplendent in his Arc'teryx gear, as always. Arc'teryx kicking out the whole NST crew on site. 30 days up there, and they've all been warm and dry. I mean, Stan spent enough time at the bottom of that face. We need to get him one of those Dakine competitor vests, don't we?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, has he ridden the face? I mean, other than in a emergency sled?
It's a mandatory drop-in if you have the vest on.
Okay, thank you, Arc'teryx, so much for all of the support. Now, let's take our first look at the lineups for today. So we can take a little look at each of these. And we say it every time, but every single one of these feels like a final today.
Wow. I mean, look at this. What I'm looking forward to the most is I really want to see Craven get a chance to take a bite out of this piece of meat because, you know, he is the chosen one for this venue. He's helped to groom it. I want to see Dustin let loose.
And on the flip side, similar style riding, very unique. Let's look at Elston and then the style mavens, Gigi and Nils, that bracket. It's all very exciting today.
Yeah, you got real contrast in each of the riders' styles. Let's take a look at the format. Way simpler today than it was yesterday. But as we all agreed, that format definitely worked and we got way more action. But today, back to the head-to-heads. So 3 rounds, quarterfinals, semis, and final. And they get 2 runs each. No tiebreakers. It will just be highest score goes through. I think if in the rare case that they are tied on their highest scores, it'll be which of the next runs is the highest score. So pretty simple and straightforward, just lovely toe-to-toe action. These are the judging criteria again: creativity, risk, execution, difficulty, overall. Creativity and risk, the real difference between these criteria and anything else. You're looking for fresh lines, spontaneity, and how big you're willing to go. And that we definitely saw that yesterday. They got the message from the judges, the riders.
Yeah, I think, you know, there were some people that kind of played to the same line over and over again, but the people that were adventurous and kind of like really broke open new terrain, if they didn't fall, we saw them punch up their scores big time.
Okay, if you're in the mix for some fresh apparel, then definitely start scanning the QR code that's about to appear here. Look at that, I got it right on time that time. So this Arc'teryx gear is up for grabs, full suite of gear, head to toe. Plus, if you scan that QR code and go in the draw, you'll also be in to win 2 Icon season passes for 2025, 2026. Todd's got his, Eddie Wall's got his. Mary, have you got yours yet?
Oh yeah, I have mine.
I'm the odd one out
I think
here.
I have mine in my pocket.
Shut the front
Oh
door. Have you
my
actually
God.
got it?
There's my Icon pass right there.
Okay, on top of everything else that the riders can win today, there is a $129,000 prize purse up for grabs, $25,000 for each of the winners, plus a Ski-Doo Summit X. You can see it up on the screen behind us here. These are the lightest and most agile Summit X's Ski-Doo have come up with yet. They are perfect for the Rockies and pretty much anywhere you want to go. Now, before we get stuck into the action, which is coming up very shortly, we're going to check in with the First Nation communities. They've been instrumental in making natural selection happen in British Columbia with their support. And we can check in now with some of their ancient stories that have built their culture and history.
Nature isn't just our playground, it's part of us. Across the mighty continent many call Turtle Island, every slope, every tree, and every breath ties us together. My name is Court Blackbird Larrabee, and for the past 18 years, I've been fostering connections between First Nation communities, government, and industry. Turtle Island is a name many indigenous use for North America. Nations like the Anishinaabe, Mohawk, Lenape, and Lakota all share stories on how the land was formed on the back of a great turtle. In these creation stories, the world was once covered in water. The animals worked together, diving deep and collecting a bit of earth to place on the back of a mighty turtle, creating the foundation for the land we live on today. The turtle symbolizes balance, cooperation, strength, and our deep connection to nature. Calling this place Turtle Island reminds us of its ancient history and our shared journey together. It teaches us to live in balance with the land, honoring its life and our deep connection to it, and a reminder that we are all one.
Saving the best till last, 6th and final member of the team. We like to call him the Kevin Bacon of snowboarding because there's no one pro or industry that you can't connect through Eddie Wall. How you going, Eddie?
I'm amazing. And I mean, the reason I'm so excited is because yesterday felt like a final to me. And now we're actually going into the final day, which is going to be mental. I'm very excited to be here. And also, hook me up with a Red Bull. I gotta get more.
I don't know
more
if you
amped.
need any more.
He's going in
jacked
early.
up,
Thank
Eddie.
you.
Yes, Eddie.
Yeah.
I want to send out a massive shout out right now as well to everyone having a cheap bit of fun at the 10 Barrel Brewing watch parties in all of their pubs. If you sat at home watching this on your own, go and check out 10 Barrel Brewing, see if there's one of the pubs close to you, and go and join everyone else. We've even got our own bar up on site for everyone who's in Revelstoke. Don't forget the venue is open to the public this year. So it was such a difference yesterday, wasn't it? Seeing all of the public down at the bottom.
Yeah, it gave a lot of energy. It brought a lot of energy to the venue that we have not seen in the past.
All right, well, here we go. Mikey Ciccaerelli, straight away. We are right into the action, folks, here.
Yeah. Last year's Natural Selection Tour champion. He was emphatic on Montana Bowl. He didn't put a foot wrong in the Selkirks, in the quarters, semis, and finals. He qualified in first yesterday, which means he's going toe-to-toe with Blake Moller, who was the last rider to qualify out of Session 2 in the Hail Mary round. So, Mikey, he's adapted. It feels like not that long ago that I saw him on World Cups, X Games riding slopestyle, but his transition into the backcountry has been so quick.
Yeah, and we talked about it yesterday. I feel like there are a lot of competitors who grow up doing slope and pipe, half pipe, and they're like, oh, naturally, I'll just start, channeling into the backcountry after that. But it doesn't always work, and it doesn't always happen. But Mikey Ciccaerelli is the example of someone who made it happen.
And you can watch him as he's visualizing here, and just his approach. Everything is very calculated and smooth. There's no unnecessary body movements. He's not spazzing around. Everything has a purpose, and it fits in his little puzzle for what he has for this run.
Only 2 of our athletes today have ridden this side of the venue before, Torgeir Bergrem and Nils Mindnich. But Mikey Ciccaerelli going to be breaking some fresh trail. He will have been poring over every second of drone footage he could get his hands on, every single photo, trying to see the shadows, trying to find the gradient and the transitions that are going to work for his landings.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday, Ed, is no matter how much drone footage you study, no matter how many photos you study, once you get on that course...
Yeah, it's out the window.
It's out the window. I mean, you're just like, oh, I'm going to go by that tree, and I'm going to see that wind lip, and then you're on the line, and you're like, oh my God, where's that tree? And all of a sudden, everything is like freestyling.
Well, Mikey's setting the pace right here, too. He's going to put the first line into this. And, I mean, the first line is always magnetic, right? It pulls everyone into, let's just follow this line and see where he went. Maybe he put a couple takeoffs into these jumps. So Mikey is truly going to be trailblazing here into this first run.
Yep.
So 3 kickers straight out of the portal here. You've got 3 kickers in front of you, and then you can go far riders left, which will take you around to the top of bar fight. And there's Dustin Craven's put a big pole jam in there with a Canadian flag
Craven's
on it.
middle finger is what we're calling that.
Right, but he's coming straight into that first kicker.
540 off the bat into an aggressive rag.
Mikey, we called him polite, didn't we, and mild-mannered yesterday?
Still time to get this run back. Oh, melon.
As if I just fucking fell on that.
God, this is the best.
It is.
Riders mic'd up, like the interior commentary.
Look, he's white-roomed himself amazingly there. So staying high on this ridge, that's the canyon gap. Now, away, interesting. That's far east that he's on top of now.
Back 3, deep. Oh, goes down, a little over-rotating.
This is one of the first times we've seen Mikey Ciccaerelli make mistakes here.
Well, straight up the top, he's like, I can't believe I fell on that. Anyone else would be like, I can't believe I made that.
I'm still alive. So goggles off, helmet off. He's completely clogged himself up there.
Yeah, we talk about this yesterday, but when you start off a run with a fall, your mental game can go right out the window.
Motherfucker.
Rider mics.
Oh, it's hard to see in there.
Okay, that's a great bit of intel. Hard to see in there. So he went straight into Punter's Paradise, that big funnel at the top of the pinch. And there are no trees there. No definition.
Holy shit. Ow. Yeah. That was a lot of tumbling.
Yep. Right there. I mean, hard to see, hard to put him down, but now Blake has the convenience of there's a little bit of definition in the snow now from where Mikey went off that jump. There's a takeoff. He can see where the undulations are in the snow because of the track that Mikey put in.
Yeah, I will say, you know, the judges reward people for choosing new lines, but under these flat light conditions, it is pretty beneficial to at least stay somewhere near a previous rider's track.
Or the thicker trees.
Oh boy, Jay tears into the course. That is aggressive.
Extra bonus points
And
right
he's
there.
coming down this left-hand side towards bar fight and Dustin's middle finger.
Oh, is he going straight into it?
Oh, no, he's coming
no.
round to bar fight. Way more trees in here, a little bit more definition potentially.
I will say bar fight is my favorite run name.
Nice.
All right, back three.
Manage that speed. Don't white yourself out. You don't want to go blind into any of these features.
Staying ahead of the slough at the moment, but look at what's in front of him. This rolls off so quickly here.
Yeah,
a lot of exposure.
This is where the studying hopefully comes into play.
There's a bench there between these two. So this is the brick, one of the bigger cliffs, and you've got a short landing there. He's got to, this speed has got to be perfect.
I'd be breaking myself for sure right here.
This is where the majority of humans unstrap and hike up.
Look at this. Eyeing this up. This is a very technical
Yes.
double. Boom.
Oh,
and he's up.
Oh, he made it through that.
Oh,
Giant front three.
Oh my God.
This is why
Blake
we're
Moller.
here. This is why we are here at this venue.
Listen to the crowd. Oh my God.
This is the way to open natural
Wow.
selection.
Wow.
Dude.
Okay. So BMO putting it down.
If you distill natural selection into a line, it looks exactly like that. This is what Travis wanted.
Great read of terrain. Wow, that is so insane. I can't wait for these replays. This is going to be really fun to watch.
And the front three at the end, talk about putting an exclamation mark on a run. Like, holy smoke. I did not expect that.
Not
This
a small
zone-
one either.
This zone has a couple of those. I maybe mentioned it a couple of times yesterday, but I've been to Revelstoke. This zone
don't say.
has some giant kickers out at the bottom, as we saw there. There's one right next to that on the way out of Hell's Flute that you could go huge on.
All right, let's watch a replay here.
So tracking out.
Oh.
This is Mikey's cab 5 to open. Tried that 3 over that second pillow, but
Yeah, over rotate, caught his heel edge, and just flipped him into a ragdoll. Little Tommy down there.
so he's opened the door for Blake Moller with this run. Mikey's got to lock himself back in again.
Yeah, he needs to tap back in. But this was great.
I forgot about the start. Dude, here we go.
Look at this.
Dude, that is
I want to see this landing.
Do you know whose pro model he's on as well?
No.
Louis Paradis. He's on like
epic.
a street backcountry board.
Okay, so a little lean back, but I mean, not bad.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, that combo,
Oh,
so good. There was 0 reaction time there.
And just catching the transition.
think of Jared's run yesterday. He did exactly the same deck chair, rolled back and had that manual out, and he didn't get punished for
That's
it.
going to be a, yeah, that's.
Blake Moller looking for a big score here. 85.3.
Yep.
Nice.
He set a decent target that Mikey Ciccaerelli now has to reach in run 2.
Now you got to remember, the numbers are not really important. It's just the placement.
Right.
Those numbers are placeholders for where they want to score people.
Yeah. So Blake Moller hits off Heat 1. Now we move on. And we said it at the start, but every single one of these quarterfinals is a final. Nils Mindnich didn't put a foot wrong yesterday. Very, very impressive. He's going toe-to-toe with Austria's finest. One of the most playful and entertaining snowboarders ever created. Gigi Ruff.
Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup here.
Ed, yesterday you were talking about Nils' love for the backcountry, and when I met Nils, he had a brand new Ski-Doo Summit in the back of a very old truck, and his snowmobile was cost more than his truck, and that's when you know you're dedicated to the backcountry.
Okay, he's following Blake Moller's line at the moment. Out towards Dustin's middle finger. He's not getting tempted back into punter's paradise, though. or after bang. He's going right out to bar fight here.
Back 180. Okay, okay.
Coming in switch still. Cab one. Lofty.
Beautiful style. So clean here.
The no grab, arms down, Devin Walsh.
We come into this overexposed area. I would say that exposure is indecent, Eddie. Would you concur?
Isn't that a Demi Moore film?
Look at this. Look.
Oh, look at, you can tell how steep it is, the way he's arching his back to try and look in there.
Oh, the mind mapping that's going on right here.
So here we go.
Oh, he's found his way onto the top of this bench. Is he looking at the pyramid?
Dude, what are you doing?
What?
Oh my God.
That was insane.
He stood up on that. That was no different to Blake's landing or Jared's landing yesterday.
Wow. There was a solid whoomph when he hit, too. So there was some impact there.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle 3 hours of this.
This is already exceeding my expectations, and there's only been 3 runs. This is mental.
Wow. Interesting. What we've got, you've got Mikey Ciccaerelli, who's come from Slopestone. You've got Nils Mindnich and Blake Moller, who've come off the Freeride World Tour. And there's such a distinct difference between the riding styles at the moment. Wow, what a start. And you've got to say, back up at the top, we've got a completely different style of rider again. From the very first time, like I think the first time I saw a photo of Gigi, he was lip sliding a car.
Yep.
Like he came out of the womb ready to film.
Yeah, that was his intro to Happy Hour, the YETI film.
Do it for your kids. Do it for the fam, man.
Did Dustin said do it for your kids.
Do it for the kids.
Right, he swings round on that YETI cooler, gets ready to go, stamping his feet in there. YETI, 5 years deep on support for natural selection. They've been here since the very beginning. Massive shout out to them for their support.
Right there, the glue. Liam Griffin of Natural Selection. It's one thing to have crazy ideas like Travis. It's another for someone to make them come to life.
Exactly.
Liam is that guy.
Okay, Gigi dropping in switch.
Carrying a lot of speed.
Yes!
Okay, that's why they built that. Thank you.
Half cab to the Eagle's nest.
Thank you, Gigi.
Just starting things off.
Dude,
oh my gosh.
What?
Dude, and those gaps, if you come up short on one of those, it is bad
Oh my gosh.
news.
Oh my gosh. Gigi is hauling butt down here.
That was incredible.
Wow. Okay.
I'm right up on top of this stack now. This is after bang, where we saw Mikkel. Oh,
Yes, this
Yeah,
angle is
Gigi.
insane. Yes. Oh my God.
Gigi
What?
Rook, take a bow. That was exceptional.
Wow.
Dude.
Okay, talk about no hesitation and high-speed riding.
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening there. I was like, you are carrying a lot of speed into this.
Zero hesitation.
Listen to the response as well.
Just eating a little bit of snow.
Oh, just chow and pow down there at the base.
Chow the pow. Oh, gosh.
It's so fun up there.
All right, we're hearing snow's insane.
I stayed on the feet. It's just really hard to navigate.
It seems it.
Yeah, you could not tell by watching.
Man,
Okay, so here's Nils. That back one into this zone. And then he's right on top of the pyramid cliff here. Look how hard it is just to get to it.
Yeah, talk about a no-fall zone. That is so gnarly.
And then just goes straight into it here.
The slough just waterfalling.
Double tap.
And pop.
That is so
Dude,
big.
That angle made it look way bigger.
Jesus.
Wow.
This is outrageous. We're 4 runs in, and we've seen 3 absolute all-time
Dude,
runs.
That was so sick. The half cab out at high speed, drifting back 3.
Back 3 just a beelining it. Almost sends it off that cliff.
And just clattering down through that chute.
Take note of how he lands this. Doesn't even touch an hand down, nothing. Like,
Did you see the way he washed?
Yeah.
Oh, he shifted off the cliff as well.
He's like a seagull. He's got the wings out. He just seagulling his way down this
little front
course.
three. And Yeah, we always say he's light on his feet, but that's a perfect example.
This is going to be tough. Very, very close, I think. 80.3 versus 83.3.
Yep.
Nils Mindnich and Mikey Ciccaerelli, last year's finalists, already on the ropes in the quarterfinals here.
Yeah.
This is what we want. This is what we're here for.
I think Nils' drop was slightly gnarlier, but his landing was pretty, you know, full layback, whereas Gigi didn't even touch a finger to the snow.
But it was, yeah.
You know,
It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
yeah, splitting hairs.
Like the
Again,
level of exposure, like Gigi's Nils' risk criteria just jacked right up.
yeah.
Two men who are no strangers to risk at all, Jared Elston and Torgeir Bergrem. Absolute powerhouses in the prime of their careers. I mean, I say that in full knowledge that Gigi Ruff is 43 and I think Travis is 42, and they appear to be only just eclipsing the strength of their powers. Maybe they're not even on the downside yet, but first in, Torgeir Bergrem. He has ridden this side of the face before, one of the few riders with a bit of data to work with.
So he's going into this kicker as well. Different line, though.
Well, cross court.
Yeah, looks, this basin's going to lead him down on top of Hell's Float.
Just cruising down, just popping off these pillows. No spins yet, but keeping his speed and flowing well.
He's going for line.
Yeah.
I think he wants
He's
something
just
big at
going
the bottom.
straight for the goods.
Well, that makes you think anytime you're not distracting yourself up top with something, you've got something big planned down the bottom.
There's a good...
Oh my God. Big air into this. He's on the corner of Hell's Float, right next to no man's land. This is as far riders left, lookers right as you can go on this face.
A little bit of snow moving.
Yeah, quite a bit of slough. Oh, here we go.
This is a big double. That's a huge double.
No, he missed the middle. He just went all the way down. That was a single.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
And there's no selling that. That was a dead stop.
No, yeah, he stopped dead.
That'll happen when you jump off a 6-story building.
I love the fact that he committed to it, though. He had like the little poke on the air, like, I'm stomping this one, I'm bringing it in.
I can't wait to see that replay, because I thought the same thing, Todd. I thought he was going to touch down on that little bench.
Little shimmy shake, just getting rid of the excess snow.
He went big.
Look at his partner. She's just like, yeah, you actually did that, didn't you?
Wow. Okay. Okay. This is one of the competitors that I'm the most excited to see up here. He carries so much energy. There's a lot of power, a lot of bravado with his riding.
Good to go, Jared. All right.
Yeah, Jared riding his new Arbor El Camino Pro model.
And he gives the sign off. One of Arc'teryx's finest.
Jared needs to pull his pants down. There's a lot of powder in there. I don't know if anyone's told him.
I think they've got the little hem on them. They're elasticated.
Oh, yeah.
So he's fine.
Very trendy.
It's the Arc'teryx trend, baby.
Where is he going?
Way out across to the top of Hell's Float.
He's going over to the Temple of Stoke.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, wow, as
Way
far out as you can get.
Jeez, dude.
This is steep here. This is really, really steep. You've got a lot of trees to work with, though.
Hey, and talk about opening up new lines. This is something that the judges love to see.
He just rode into a different zip code. Where is he going? And it's so steep. You watch him as he's just trying to manage the slough here.
Yep. Ooh, back three.
That was cheeky.
Looks like he stomped it pretty good before tapping that tree.
Look at it now.
It's like his chest is touching the snow. It's so steep.
They call that stream, Eddie. This is stream boarding out here.
Nipple deep.
What?
Oh, and he's kept his momentum through difficult spine terrain there.
What?
Battling.
Oh my God, dude. Look at that snow movement.
There's still a lot going on there. Okay, so considering where he went, it didn't, to me, it kind of didn't seem like he got the payoff that he was looking for.
I mean, it was
super sick.
Holy shit. Steve
in there.
Steep in there.
Super steep, but do you think he was looking for a big feature
I
that
think
he didn't come on?
I think possibly that angle was a little bit like not giving as much justification. I
Okay.
think if you see a front angle of that, he was in some very like bouncy, crazy pillow lines that are easy to get knocked off your feet.
But it's not as steep as where we saw Blake or Nils. Like, and they had a big point on there. Like, this is an epic big mountain line.
They put themselves in some serious no-fall zones, but look at this. I mean,
it just slopes away. Giant,
Oh my
giant air out into the flats.
It was so close. If he could have redirected slightly, he might have, like, a tiny little, if he'd tried to hip it a bit.
All right, Jared.
Here's Jared.
He's got that 3 up top. I'd forgotten about that
In
one.
the crazy steep terrain.
Like, look at that.
too.
That
Yeah.
is pretty gnarly, dude. And to stay on your feet through all of that,
There was a, difficult to see. It looked like there was a ramp all the way through there, though.
yeah, mellow like 40-foot ollie off the bottom.
You know, his line was definitely, I think he has the advantage right now.
And
in
no
this exchange.
hesitation.
Yeah.
Zero hesitation, which
Well,
I think is
you're
huge.
about to see, like, where are the judges going to put that dead stop from Torgeir? Oh, Torgeir gets punished. Jared
Yep.
with the 75.6.
Okay. Again, no hesitation.
No hesitation.
And no bobbles. And that back three was in
huge.
a very sketchy zone. Like, easy to hit a tree, easy to go down.
The difference that I see there, though, you look at Blake scoring Gigi's score against Nils and Mikey, and they're big, big markers. That one feels wide open still.
Yep.
That is so far within Torgeir's reach.
Okay, guys, I'm really excited right now. Guys.
What you weren't before.
God, no, now I'm like really excited. I was faking it earlier. Look at this kid right here, the pride of Revelstoke.
Run through the wall smelling salts.
Yep.
Not a more fitting helmet
There he
for
is.
Dustin Craven.
The prince of Revelstoke.
Grenier
Dustin
and the
Craven.
bomb hole crew are going to be losing their
Yeah,
minds.
shout out to
aren't they?
Bombhole and Grenier.
Okay, Starley is in, going up against Revelstoke's first son.
Look, this is an opportunity to have a statue made of you in town.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that weight is lost on Dustin Craven right now.
Is he going to open up his own middle finger? Rocking that hockey helmet and the black strap. Go on. Oh, no.
Oh, no, he's saving it, saving it.
It looks steep. It looks like vert almost. that middle finger. It looks
It's a Wally.
Okay, so just cruising down, keep it mellow at the top.
Opening up
Oh.
again, fresh terrain.
Yeah, big air.
There we go. That was huge. See how he's able to manage his slough and not white room himself. So impressive.
So, Gab on the FPV, chasing him through these tight
That's
slots.
so cool, this angle.
This angle shows the blindness.
He's going to be up on top of brick, isn't
yeah,
he?
like you can't see anything. You're like, is that a 50-foot cliff or a 10-foot cliff?
Oh, boy. Yeah, Craven, go.
The side of brick. So he's underneath brick now, coming into that zone where we saw Blake Moller.
Ridiculous.
Front three.
Yeah, Craven.
Nice.
Nice navigation of that face.
Go.
I think a lot of these riders, too, are taking this first run as an intel gathering.
Yeah.
For sure.
But we were talking about getting lost on a line. That's an example of someone who did not. That was like pure execution. You know he was exactly where he wanted to be.
You get the feeling that he spent the most amount of time just studying that part of the line when he was cleaning this venue up and building all of those new features.
And I will say, in the summer, this stuff looks completely different. So it is way different with a lot of snow on it because you don't really know how anything's going to fill in.
Okay, so Craven down. We are in our 4th quarterfinal. Starley Sandbech, the last rider to drop in these first runs.
I got rider report, you ready?
And we'll loop back up to the top of the order to watch those second runs. Starley looked very, very assured yesterday, though.
Area down to high beams, but he's not quite sure.
So Starley reminds me of the type of rider. I mean, obviously he's no stranger to intense, steep terrain, you know, but he does have the freestyle element that a lot of, some of the other riders don't. You know, he's like no stranger to just doing massive spins. And so I'm curious to see if he does go for the scarier lines or if he goes for a more technical run. Like
well,
that.
we're going to go front
There you
seven.
go,
There we go.
front
Oh,
seven.
Clean as a whistle.
That's exactly what I was saying right there.
Starley, ollie out onto that mushroom. Wow. Okay.
Big statement at the top of this run.
He is riding this thing proper right now. Big move. Butter, 360, kind of a little bit of a jet ski out of that, but he's back up on his feet.
This is beautiful.
Still has an opportunity for one more big hit.
Here we go, back. 3. All right, so yeah, so I kind of called that a bit. Like, he stuck more to his freestyle moves rather than putting himself on some really steep, scary stuff. But again, that like a trick like that solid front 7, it's the biggest spin we've seen so far, and it was stomped perfect.
Play to your strengths. And it's not like that was the only thing either. He had that ollie out onto that mushroom as well.
I'm going to put it out there as well. Jared Elston came down and said that it was really bad visibility in there. Starley came down the same zone, no trees in there. That Oakley prism lens could be working for him.
There you go.
Doesn't look like a flat light lens either.
The hockey helmets, they look pretty good.
Okay, which way is this going? Give me the shout.
Starley's got the advantage here. I think that Craven went in there looking at that more like an intelligence gathering run. It was sick.
Let's see, right here. I mean, he did 2 big drops, and then...
But he sat exactly next to the gigantic drops that the judges have just seen Nils and Blake take on. It's impossible. Like, Blake went nearly half the distance again off that bottom kicker.
Now watch Starley's version of the run, because he goes front sev, obviously, park trick, whatever.
Tail grab
clean as a whistle. It doesn't get much more clean than that. But then watch this. That pop, big indie right there, and then he goes to try to pop out onto this mushroom. Oh, we missed that. Backside 3.
That's a really tough call for me. Honestly, that's a tough call, because Dustin did put himself into some kind of a little scarier zone.
I think the indie, like the way that fell away and how steep it was there, and to keep it pointed afterwards, not give in to that urge
the advantage
to
is
slow
going
it
to go
down.
to Starley. I'm going to call it on this one.
It's not going to be huge. I reckon Dustin high 70s, Starley early to mid 80s.
But remember, it's not about these scores, just who had the better interpretation of this and who's going to move on. And it's going to be dangerous now that Dustin's got all that intel.
You know, see how it's taking a minute, right? Because this is one where the judges have to deliberate a little bit.
Front 7 tail. Who grabbed for that long? Like, he grabbed through fully more than 360.
Look at the judges. They're like,
Proper
oh,
park
man.
style.
They're like, oh, what do we do?
DCP, Yussi, and Chad, I reckon, have got the front 7 up top. Leanne and Jody, I'm not quite so sure. If you're just being introduced to our judges joining us today, it is a judging panel of peers. Chad Otterstrom, Yussi Ottonen, 84.6, 84.3.
Okay, that's great to see that.
Wow.
That's great to see, because they're weighing each equally almost.
We said that was going to be close, and I have no idea it was going to be that close, with 0.3 difference.
They're literally separated by a paper cut.
Yeah.
That is outrageously close there. So Blake Moller against the form guide leads Heat 1. You've got Gigi Ruff leading Nils Mindnich. As we said before, both of last year's finalists on the ropes in Heat 1 and 2. Torgeir Bergrem had a big run, but he couldn't make it stick. So Jared Elston leads Heat 3. And Craven and Starley Sandbech, that one is poised perfectly for a showdown in run 2. Wow. Okay.
Let's go.
Take a breath.
Let's go. I need to get back in this.
I want to take a little breather. That was so intense.
Yeah. Okay, so I was just saying it. Now Mikey knows what he's dealing with. Mikey is a perfectionist, the way that he can kind of recenter himself. I've heard from multiple people that Mikey's, I think it was on the bomb hole, that he was concentrating on trying to stay in a flow state, get himself back into it, re-rack it. Now he's got intel going into this. But there's, you have to have that go for broke, attitude in this to get those scores.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break before we get stuck into run 2. If you haven't already seen it, this is the new Arc'teryx film, Every Island Has a Name. It is an absolute scorcher of a film. Check it out.
We made a movie!
Made a movie!
We're a bunch of dreamers dreaming together, and this what kind of came out of it. I think it really expresses a lot about how I see snowboarding, how I see the world, how I dream, and I think snowboarding is so much more than just tricks, tricks, tricks.
We're going doors off.
When I'm surrounded by good people and we have a good vibe, I can really be me and see what comes, and that's mostly when like the best thing happens. Gliding down a mountain, feeling everything around it, like the snow, the air, the weather. It's something I want to do with friends.
No check. Day 2. Natural selection. Lake. Dropping in 10.
What's the status?
1 minute.
Kind of looking like we want to make some moves.
Yeah, we're just debating.
Copy that.
3, 2, 1.
Snow is good in that landing.
Drones up. Cameras rolling.
How you guys doing down there?
Ready to battle it out.
Copy.
Got everything we need.
We are rocking, my friend.
Welcome back to the YETI Natural Selection live from Revelstoke Mountain Resort. In the booth for the second runs of men's quarterfinals, Eddie Wall and Mary Walsh. And if the first runs are anything to go by, this is going to be outrageous, Mary.
Yeah, that was intense. I was sitting in the other room watching that, just yelling at the screen. I mean, that was, you know, I'm excited to see Mikey's next drop because I feel like he's going to really put the pressure on with this one.
Yeah, you know, I think with that bobble on his first run, he got, you know, he got a little frustrated, and he's like, he's going to come out with vengeance right now.
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting one, isn't it? Can he put that behind him and focus on this? He's certainly got some tracks to follow now.
Here we go. That's what he wanted. That's what he was going for first run. And again, starting it off with a clean cab 5. Bounce out to that pillow. Again, such a scary feature. If you come up short on that, it is not good.
Different Mikey, right from the off. White roomed himself quite heavily getting out onto this ridge. He's got that big Red Bull booter in front of him, but he's going back to the Far East zone. So a brand new zone for this year.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Got that back 3. Couldn't quite hold on to it.
Got a little heavy on the heel edge on that. Okay.
Oh, this is going to be tight because Blake scores so big in there.
Yeah.
That 85.3.
This is a nail biter for sure right now, and Blake still has one more drop.
Yeah. We won't see scores until both riders are down at the bottom, though. So Blake has no idea what he's hunting for here, but already Mikey's body language, that little tilt to the head says, have I done enough? It was strong up top.
Wow. So, DC, doing Moller, kind of went a little crazy last run. What do you think? Knowing him, Colorado boy.
So unusual. He's made so few mistakes in his natural selection career so far. He had that epic duel with Mark McMorris, and then Mark hurt his ankle, so he got the injury wild card in.
Yep.
But 2 runs back to back with a mistake.
I'll tell you, being Blake in this position, knowing you're already in the lead and you have a solid first score, it takes a lot of the nerves down, and when the nerves go down, you usually ride better. So front 7, flawless. So there we go.
As if on cue, you called that perfectly, Eddie.
Stale fish.
He's having fun now, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got the really heavy, intense run out of the way, so he's getting more playful.
Yeah, he's released the pressure, and now he's just flowing.
You can hear him heavy breathing already, though. He's into that Mickelbang, Travis Rice zone that we saw these boys attacking last year.
There we go.
Yeah, and that's a 1-2 punch right there with the tricks up at top and that train of consequence at the bottom. I mean, that's going to be another good scoring from the judges.
Stayed on his feet flawlessly and had the front 7 at the top. Hit the gap out to pillow.
I love, like this, he's got what I call triangular power. Just ducks that back knee in a bit, and it gives him that lovely tuck knee on the front 3 that you see. But I reckon his stance angles, that back foot, it's 0 or positive, I reckon.
Yeah, it looks pretty straight right there.
That Cat 5 was so nice.
Okay. So, Mikey with that cab 5 up top.
That was just beautiful. And I mean, Mikey's second run was so much more capitalized than his first run. He's got to be stoked about that top section, but it's tough. I mean, Blake just put down something so solid as well, and here's where we got in a little bit of trouble. He just kind of was heel heavy on that landing.
I hiked up to have a look at that when I was there, just to see that new zone, and it looked quite small.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, this is going to be somewhere where you come to nibble at a couple of features, but he went so big in there.
Yeah.
But front 7 to start.
Yeah.
We saw that working so hard.
And this is technical here. Gets one little ollie and then bounces off this cliff and stays on his feet.
So Starley got a really solid score out the judges, I think. Was it 83.6 with that front 7 up top? So it's tough to see Mikey taking this, but the numbers are coming in. So lower score for Blake. You're seeing that exposure, that risk, bumping the score into the mid-80s. But double combo on Mikey Ciccaerelli. Blake Moller in the driving seat after the quarterfinals here. Straight into the semis at his first ever YETI Natural Selection. Wow. So dreamland for Blake Moller. It took the Hail Mary to get to the quarters, but he's gone straight through against Mikey. Now into the next duel, Nils Mindnich versus Gigi Ruff. Gigi Ruff with the upper hand at the moment, but if there's one man you wouldn't want to push into the corner, it's Nils Mindnich.
That is true. He's got that calculated flow, and he's very decisive. You know, Nils, as we mentioned yesterday, he has a background in competition, both in halfpipe and in slopestyle, and he made the leap to
Big Mountain,
backcountry.
Freeride World Tour.
Oh, yes, and Freeride World Tour. So he's definitely the total package when it comes to having a big bag of tricks, being able to route find, navigate in terrain, and like you said, you don't want to push him to his limit.
Okay. It says Mindnich on the back of that Decline vest, and it says it for a reason.
There we go.
Switchback 7 to start. Big move up top. He saw it work for Starley. Half cab, shifty tail tap on that big nest set up by Dustin Craven. And now he's getting into the steep stuff at pace. This is a big run.
Yeah, no hesitation in the hairy terrain right there, just coming into this open area and getting another straight air.
Oh, beautiful, and he holds on to it.
Okay. He's out for blood. Look at that toe side.
Is there any such, there's no such thing as the perfect, oh, wait. That was, like, you just called it, Mary. We saw the precision technical freestyle of a switchback 7 at the top, and then you saw all the big mountain smarts from the Freeride World Tour down the bottom.
Yeah, and to see, and switchback 7 is arguably probably the hardest 7, like hardest direction to spin, I would say. So
off a park jump, let alone into deep powder on steep terrain.
In not great visibility.
Yeah, I think the judges are going to reward that run very well.
Yeah, it was pretty much perfect, and it was extremely technical. Gigi rough. Vorarlberg's finest. What's he got left in the tank here? It was a really playful run.
And I think that's his nature too, whereas like Nils is very calculated yet so smooth. Gigi is extemporaneous and playful, and you really never have any expectation of what he's going to do other than you're going to be pretty impressed by it. So it's like up there, what's his mindset right now?
It was like someone had like rolled a bowling ball down the slope last time, wasn't it? It was just bouncing between things.
And let's see if he has the same effect as BMO. You know, he's in the lead, pressure's off, here we go.
It's on.
That was beautiful, the half cab up.
Oh, just doubling up on those bird's nest features.
Yeah, and gapping out to those is no joke. Like, and when you hit them, you can get thrown off so easily.
Doing well not to get himself white-roomed up here, holding the pace. As I say that, he literally kicks up a powder of smoke off that big Red Bull booter, and then cuts cross-court on top of this big feature.
Nice.
Okay, just really getting himself into the weeds right here. No hesitation. One drop. Oh, such a beautiful back 180.
Stands up on it, holds on half cabs out of the bottom there, and then big cloud burst to finish.
I mean,
damn, that's gonna be pretty tough because he also got real technical up top on those birds' nests.
There was, is it me? Did Gigi somehow manage to expand the space-time continuum and make that face bigger?
Yeah.
There was so much more going on in there.
Oh, jag switched 7. I had to ask Livium on from Intel. Man, it threw me around cab. There was 50% improvisation.
There we go.
Maybe a little more.
That is why I love YETI Natural Selection.
That's your champ.
50%
improvisation,
maybe more.
He's a
okay, so switchback 7 to kick off from Nils Mindnich, and he was hauling through here.
Yeah, Nils understood the assignment. I mean, he really took every bit that you're really looking for in that credo and applied it. Look how big that was, and just so smooth in the air.
He gapped out to that tranny. The judges are going to be frothing on that.
All right, and then I want to see Gigi's first hit because it was hard for us to see that angle. Look at this angle.
Half cab up, back one down.
And then off the cornice, dude,
rad.
off that little windlet. That was so sick.
That was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, that combination of the enhanced terrain with the natty terrain, that was just, you know, beautiful use of the course.
That was big as well.
And then right here, this traverse caught me off guard. I thought his run was over. And then
Yeah.
he quickly traverses riders left and gets on top of this feature. Double line, back one also caught me off guard. Landing switch.
Super sick. Holds on to it.
Yeah, slight layback, but nothing bad. And then a little cab one to finish things off. And then boom.
Oh, man.
You know
comes
what?
out
If we got to pan to the judges' booth right now, there would be paper bags on everyone's mouth. They're trying to stop panic attacks right now. These runs are starting to get so close.
Look at UC. Oh.
Yeah, UC's just like, what are we doing? Jody's having a nightmare. Leanne's having the best time of her
Jody's
life.
having a breakdown.
Mad props to the judges. Oh, my
Yeah.
God. I don't envy their job.
No.
That is a
Yep.
really
We
There we
haven't
go.
name checked it. Oh, so 80 point. Right, that's the first run. 85, 88 for Gigi. The judges loving that creativity and spontaneity. That criteria cranked up. So an incredible run from Nils Mindnich. but he will not be advancing any further than the quarterfinals this year. He made finals last year, but it's Gigi Roof who advances. He will face Blake Moller in the semi-finals. What a matchup that promises to be. But now we move on. Torgeir, Bergrem, Jared Elston.
So that's our first 1 and 2 from last year already out.
Yep. Wow. Finals done. Totally new.
Oh.
Chicane!
Nice.
Oh, Torgeir!
Taking a note out of Gigi's book.
From yesterday. Unbelievable start. And again, you see him ripping steep terrain there, buried nearly up to his chest. Big popper there. He's getting onto something bigger here. Okay. Further left he goes, the more exposure builds.
Hunting his way down, just trying to sniff out those lines of consequence right now.
Ooh. Drone down.
Even the drone doesn't want to hit this area.
So he's on the side of brick there. This is where we saw Dustin Craven.
Oh, man, it's so tech in there.
So he slid onto the bench here. He's got Nils' first.
Oh my
God.
goodness.
Huge.
Okay. Looks like a little bit of submarine on the landing, perhaps, but we might need to look at that again. I mean, that was massive.
That was insane. Did he touch the second bench a little bit?
I think he touched the rock. You could hear on his microphone like a rock scratch off the edge.
Holy smokes.
Everyone else has been tapping pillows. He actually caught a bit of...
Yeah, I want to see that replay so bad. I think he went a little faster than expected and essentially missed the bench and just sent the entire band. But again, taking that hard,
I love how Scandinavian he is. A man of very few words.
I mean, this is the kind of rider that's just built for the tour, you know? It's in his name.
That was good. Props to that one. That was good.
I'll work on that. Thank you, Tim Manning.
And now the waiting, because, you know, with Elston behind you, even dropping something that large, I mean, you really never know what Jared's going to do.
I love the fact that his girlfriend was not having the dap. She was like, you don't dap me.
So there, another view of the chicane. And then here we go. Look at this.
Oh my
Yeah, he pretty much sent the whole thing.
That was huge.
I mean, how small these guys look on top of that band is just ludicrous.
I can't wait to see that replay on Instagram, because the Instagram feed is amazing last night. I was just, all the replays just blowing up my phone.
So right now, I imagine, I don't know for sure, but I imagine that FPV drone going down in the middle of the run means that they'll be getting a new FPV drone up to the top there. So that's why we've seen replays now. As soon as that gets up to the top, then Jared Elston will be on his way, but it's going to be a long, nervous wait down here for Torgeir, because you don't feel like, I mean, Jared's score wasn't out of sight, but you don't, it's difficult to tell, isn't it, without getting a really close-up replay on that big cliff.
And then here's another question.
Okay, let's go up to the top now. We've got Hannah Beeman. What's going on up there, Hannah?
Hey, Ed, up here with all the riders, you know, the guys are just pretty much sending it. We thought we were going to see some of these lines coming out in finals, but they are just going for it. And I think now that a few runs have been done that they're really happy with, they're kind of playing with the idea of like, oh, do we take it a little more safe? Do we keep sending it? Little bit of concern about those exact gnarly lines getting ridden early. They're kind of wondering, okay, what are we going to do for our finals runs? How are those tracks going to affect where we want to go? And I mean, all in all, everybody's pretty psyched. I think there's a little bit of murmurings of like, you know, how to change up their runs, strategy, what's going on in their minds going forward. But everybody's pretty much sending it. And I think they're excited to take it to the next level for the next round.
What's the snow like up there, Hannah?
The snow is, it's good. I mean, it's still coming down. It's really kind of not bad viz, but we got some snow. It's accumulating, what was that?
Not me. You're getting some interference. You're probably getting Revelstoke air traffic control. We'll put it back. The FPV drone is up there. Thank you so much, Hannah. But Jared Elston now, slight little weight there. But you always think of him as a young gun. But he jumped on natural selection in 2022. So he is a veteran of this tour now. He knows how it works, and he knows how to play the game.
Yeah, when Jared first came onto the tour a couple years ago, he really was thought of as a dark horse. You know, we had really a lot of excitement about what he was going to do. And he delivered just like that.
Oh, no!
Okay, I think I cursed him on that one.
That is heartbreaking.
Right, so he goes pole jam to front flip.
Yep.
But I do love that because I feel like riders have been kind of intimidated by that feature.
And the thing, too, is it does come into the judging situation where you're hitting something of consequence at top that does weigh heavy because you are putting at risk the rest of your line.
Lovely double there.
Oh, no.
Oh. This is going to be so interesting.
Okay. So
I mean, he did lace that bottom section pretty well. It was like a triple. And, you know, way down, it looked like he kind of checked, but it was like way after the landing. And then he did do the pole jam, but kind of went over the bars. Yeah, I'm real curious to see.
I don't see an improvement.
I don't know there's going to be an improvement, but I'm really curious as whether Torgeir can get to that 75.6 with his run.
The psychotic Scandinavian Sen gene, you mean?
Yes. I mean, that chicane obviously was great, little wheelie, but it looked really sick, honestly. And then this giant drop where he just went super size on. I mean, that is crazy.
I mean, you saw the tail of the board come out. He was definitely lying on his back there.
Yeah. He definitely went down on that, got up quickly, but I'm curious to see.
Is it enough?
Oh, here we go. So let's see what happened here. Going up.
That is so sick.
And then over the bars.
Straight up.
But that's the thing again, too, is that up levels his risk factor, even though clearly not a make.
This is beautiful.
1, 2, 3. There we go. So
that was beautiful navigation.
Yep.
Right. I'd trust Jared Elston in any storm.
It's got to be another close one.
Yeah.
So second run for Torgeir, 72.3, but it is not enough to overhaul that first run score of Jared Elston. I'm going to say it, maybe mildly controversial, but I think Jared got lucky there. If Torgeir had put something down, if that had been a deck chair, as we've seen, for example, Blake Moller get away with, then, yeah, that could have been a big score.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Jared Elston, Gigi Ruff, and Blake Moller guaranteed their spots in the semis. Who, out of Dustin, Craven, and Starley Sandbech, is going to join them? Craven drops first. This one so tightly poised. 0.3 between Craven and Sandbech right now. It's coming down to this run.
I love seeing them so closely intertwined with scores because their styles of riding are so different.
Yeah. So all the way across again. Craven wanting to get on top of that big exposure. And it is so steep here. Front three.
Yeah, front three, right in between all the trees. That landing is so sketchy.
Wow.
And like you said, Ed, this is so steep. Like if you start tumbling, the only thing stopping you is a tree.
Cheeky method.
And now opened up into this blind, steep face.
Hell's Float.
Wow.
Another solid name. I love when they're turning on their toe edge and their chest is scraping the snow. That really shows you the steepness of this zone.
It's full spine, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, coming across to the corner of brick here.
Nice.
What's he spotted?
Just trying to squeeze past this tree.
Onto that bench.
Okay. Oh, he is weaving into some sizable cliff right here.
Is he going to double this or is he going all the way?
He's going to go all the way.
There it
I was
is.
wrong. But still
double!
Stomps clean.
And then a beautiful pop out the bottom as well. Big run from Dustin Craven.
Just beelining it to the crowd.
Okay.
And there is that element here, isn't there? Like, it's an amphitheater. You've got a gallery down at the bottom there. Big line. Full line from top to bottom.
And just the navigation across the kind of like spine type area into that drop. I mean, that's very technical.
So Craven He looks like he's waiting for the bus, doesn't he? The man, like, what does it take to get his heart rate above 62?
My favorite quote from Craven was last year when he fell. And they're like, Craven, you fell on that run. How was that? And he's like, it sucked.
Craven's the best.
Okay. So Dustin Craven waiting patiently at the bottom for Starley Sandbech.
More information than I need to know about Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, this is dicey because I think both of these guys have such different approaches to this terrain. Both so rad, so fun to watch, so gnarly, but kind of like the yin and yang.
So Starley put it straight down the middle of Punter's Paradise.
Right. And let's also not like take out the fact that Dustin did that front three up in the in that tree zone, which is really sketchy.
Yeah. The steepest zone. It's like, I know it looks like trees and pillows, but it's close to 45 degrees in there.
Yeah, that was so steep.
Anything gets away from you, like you said, you're ragdad all the way to the bottom.
Well, I think this is where Stahle's probably, you know, if he's going to capitalize on the top with his high-level kind of trick selection from his slope days, and then add something consequential on the bottom, that could be very, very dangerous.
Like, he could easily reach into the 9 section of his bag of tricks here and pull one out up top.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Stahle breaks out right now. Again, a little of the pressure off. He's in the lead. He's a little bit more relaxed.
You can see Madison Blackley getting a shoulder massage from High Beams in the background there, and Sarka Pancochova, the women coming up straight after the men here. The action does not stop here at the YETI Natural Selection, live from Revelstoke Mountain Resort. Starley Sandbech, the last man to drop in men's quarterfinals. He said he's going to the right-hand jump.
Oh, nice.
Saw him lay down that beautiful front 7 tail grab. Like he was on a Lark's Park booter. So
Stahle definitely has a tendency to throw down when he's against the ropes, and right now he's in the lead.
Beautiful cab 5.
Oh, new area.
Back 3 nose tap.
That's so gnarly.
That was unbelievably technical. Like, arguably as a combo, that's better than the front 7 tail.
Yeah, I would say, because man, those crow's nests again. When you tap those, you don't know like at what level or what speed you're going to hit them, and they can throw you off so easily. Get bucked off one.
Now,
oh, breaking branches.
Yeah, a bit of tree pruning. He's on top of some exposure here. Little tap of that pillow.
Oh,
sat down and popped straight back up.
And look at that, traverse right.
Beautiful method, and stays on his feet.
That's a heck of a run right there. Oh, and just, you know, butter for the people.
Wow.
Yeah, that
so he had the
strong.
5, back 3, kind of nose butter, nose tap on the nest, and then kind of the pillow drop at the bottom to that, quickly getting to the right, to the rider's right, and blasting that method.
That's both a high creativity and technical.
And the butter in there as well.
I thought that pillow was a takeoff, but like the one in the air. Yeah.
Who's gonna advance on through?
You can see how, like, it's an endurance sport. It's not just skill. It's shades of, like,
and this is really a tiebreaker, legitimately.
Yeah. So just 0.3 separating these two in run 1. And it's going to be just as close.
Yeah,
Judges absolutely hating their lives right now.
All right, so here's Craven's front 3, squeezing past these trees.
Like you said, Eddie, earlier, that is such a technical route that he's navigating and spinning into that, of course.
And he got away without white rooming himself.
Yeah.
He rode with purpose. He knew exactly where he was through that top set of spines up on top of this double, which is a big stack.
Yeah, actually, I mean, looking back, he put himself in a pretty precarious situation right there. So, and just beelining through the trees at the bottom. Man, this is a tough call. Again, I am not envious of the judges.
No,
so
that was
Stahle dropping switch, cab 5 off the toes.
And then watch this.
This is going to be unreal, isn't it?
Oh,
here it is.
Back 3.
Dink. Wow.
Nose tap.
Back 3 nose tap.
I thought that was
another little ollie. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty tough one.
So he gets a bit of a double out of that.
Yeah, stomps it clean.
It's almost a triple,
And
isn't
this
it?
is good. That's sick, man.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Stolly might get this one.
Yeah.
Having to compare those two runs, I mean, thank goodness for the judges in there doing the hard work for us.
Like Gigi did.
Yeah.
Like Gigi expanded the run. He packed so much in.
Yeah,
Look
exactly.
at that. We love to see it.
Like, I thought Stolly's run was over, and then he does that method. I think, yeah, again, huge shout out to the judges. Judging is so difficult, and it's a pretty thankless job. Well, they're still deliberating.
Yussi's got stress levels of like a Wall Street banker, hasn't he? You can see he's just he knows every decision is personal.
Oh, man.
And he's 2 beers deep. Every rider in the field's going to be at him tonight in the bar. So Jody, Leanne, Yussi, DCP, and Chad Otterstrom are judges.
Yeah, and talk about you can't mess with that judging crew. I mean, what can you say? You can't. I mean, those are some of the most iconic.
Why don't you go up there and do it?
Those are
All
some
right.
of the most iconic snowboarders ever to live who are judging them. So it's like those are their peers. It's pretty epic to see that. There's no controversy on their legitimacy.
No, their combined years of experience, the amount of backcountry terrain that they could collectively guide the world through, unparalleled.
And look at how much time they're taking, you know. And again, I almost like to see that because it's like they're really thinking about it, you know.
Yeah, they're doing their due diligence for respect of what's going down today. It's like these guys are putting it on the line.
Yep.
And again, it's like the comparison of all the variables of each one of these runs, that is so difficult.
I'll say for the amount that Stolly packed into his run, I think it's probably going to sway his way, in my opinion. But we'll see. These guys are all stressed. Look at Jody. Jody's just like taking his hat off. He's like, oh my God.
Yussi's kind of taking himself out. DCP, did you know DCP wrote a poem for the riders yesterday? What?
I read that. He wrote that.
I think so, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay, scores are in. 87 versus 86.3 improvements for both of them, but it's Ståle Sandbech who takes the win and will advance to the semi-finals.
I mean, it doesn't get much closer than that.
The Revelstoke local, Dustin Craven, is out. Ståle Sandbech, the look on his face says it all. He knows exactly how tight that was.
Yeah, I mean, their first score was basically a tie, and then their second score was only about a point off. So that was one of the closest battles that we've seen so far.
Okay, well, you can see there, Blake Moller takes out the first win, and then Gigi Ruff, Jared Elston, and Ståle Sandbech, the last rider to join him. If you're interested in winning some Arc'teryx gear, then you can take home, I'll get it on this side, there's all the Arc'teryx gear. This is the QR code that you need to scan. Get on that now, and you can enter to win a full head-to-toe suite of Arc'teryx apparel and 2 Icon season passes for 2025-2026. Now, we're one step closer to finding out who will be taking home $25,000 in prize money and a Summit X Skidoo. It's very, very tight. We've got women's semi-finals coming up very shortly, and the men's will come after that. First, though, we've seen them hard at work already. Let's go and take a look at exactly who our YETI Natural Selection judges in 2025 are.
Judging panel? The panel's insane.
I came from halfpipe and then went to contest and then ended up doing filming. And that's what's cool to see here. A lot of these riders come from different backgrounds, and just seeing how they put it together, it's super cool.
The last decade or so, I've been focusing on backcountry snowboarding. All the judges here have ridden this kind of terrain, so we know the difficulty level, and that helps.
Since I have the opportunity to compete in this amazing contest format, I kind of have a little bit of an idea of what goes through the head of the competitor, the stress involved in picking the lines and knowing that maybe somebody's going to ride your line. Pretty honored to be on the other side.
Compared to any other contest, it's the complete opposite. At NST, they're picking judges with experience in this type of terrain. 540s, 360s, 720s, off poppers, and powder. Judges here have done that in the past.
I love all aspects of snowboarding, but I love POW the most.
I look at NST riders different than any other contest I've ever been a part of or watched because it's a community here of like-minded individuals that all value this culture and what amazing snowboarding should look like.
Our judges, man, they are just some of the greatest snowboarders that have ever lived, and I am super stoked that they are doing this. And I know them personally, so when I yell at them, I'll yell at them personally. All right, let's talk about the women's semifinals because that's what we're into right now. We have Madison Blackley up against Spencer O'Brien, Sarka Pancochova up against Elena Hight. Now, Mary Walsh, what are you liking here from the first heat?
Oh my gosh, I like all of it. I mean, we have 3 out of 4 riders who have not made it to this level of natural selection before, 2 complete natural selection rookies. This is exciting. This is just a fresh perspective at natural selection.
Okay, so this is the format. Once again, if you're just joining us, we got 4 riders dropping here. We have 2 rounds and semifinals and the finals. They're going head to head. Each rider will take 2 runs. Highest score will advance them on. And we have seen some great action from the men so far. And the women now are about to deliver on this course. Completely different set of terrain that they are into this time around than yesterday. Elena Hight being the one that we've been talking about having the advantage, Eddie, here with some of the bigger open terrain, but there's freestyle jumps up top.
No, absolutely. And Madison Blackley, no stranger to freestyle riding. So, you know, she's got the tricks and can obviously put herself on the top of some big cliff lines. But yeah, as we were discussing yesterday, I mean, Elena puts herself onto some real scary faces. And again, the judges love to see that.
And Spencer, too. Spencer's been to Alaska. She knows big terrain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Spencer's really at home in the backcountry. I mean, this is tough. We haven't even started yet, and this is tough. And there we go, opening things up with a backflip, touches down, very nice.
Nice wildcat. Kick things off.
Looking for something over here in the fresh zone.
It's nice to see so much fresh tracks, you know, and the snow looks so blower in there.
Using those trees. Getting into a kind of spicier zone right here.
All right, Madison opening up. She's on top of something big right here.
There we go.
Thing is, you don't know how big the features are when you're rolling up on them.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. You could come over to this, like that bowling ball effect, and all of a sudden you're on top of like a 40-foot cliff, and you're not sure how big. It could be a 10-foot cliff. You know what I mean?
Surprise 50-footers are not cool.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, 180
okay.
little bounce.
Kind of getting bucked in the landing.
Look at all that stuff over there that no one's even... Look at all that unused powder.
Yeah.
Someone should go over there and use that.
Well, it's that wide open area sans trees that has made it just a little bit harder with the kind of in and out visibility.
So Madison up top has that backflip. Kind of has that fall.
Yeah, and one of the hardest things with low visibility is if you're in the air and you're coming down, if you don't have a distinction, it's almost like you're not quite sure where you're gonna, like, when the ground is gonna hit you. Sounds like Madison's choking on the powder.
Wow. Stoke choke? I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, it's like Ed's saying, it's kind of like a marathon, so the...
And it's exactly like you're saying, Eddie. It's like, I think about when you're riding in a resort on terrain that is not nearly as consequential as this. When light's flat, this is a little bit iffy. You can come up on like a small bump and it can kind of throw you. So this is like a whole nother thing.
Quick work of it, got to hang out, and now she's back.
All right, straight back up to the top. Spencer O'Brien got her start in slopestyle, sporting that Arc'teryx gear. Getting the wipe down, the first of the ladies to give Liam Griffin a knuckle.
Also got a nice view
That's
of
why
that.
he's up there. He's just up there to knuckle people. Got to acknowledge Liam.
Yeah, can't leave someone hanging when they're offering a knuckle.
Okay, here we go, Spencer. She's directly in line here for this first kicker, the big Red Bull kicker right there.
Yeah, and as we said, Spencer comes from huge background of freestyle riding.
Switchback one.
Okay, just kind of going down on that rotation a little bit, but picking it back up. I mean, high risk executing a switch backside one on the first turn.
Going back 3. Oh.
I love how we get the rider's audio.
Yeah, that is classic. Next year they might have to add a beep button.
I mean, it shows the effort that goes into riding this terrain in those moments where they make it look so much easier than it really is. That might kind of, shows us it's definitely superhuman.
Like when you land off of a cliff and it sounds like you get kicked in the stomach.
Yeah.
Just grape lady all the way through the flats. Spencer having a where am I, what am I on top of moment here.
But making her way down,
Yep.
looking confident. Looking solid, looking confident, kind of traversing a little to the rider's left.
She has some more opportunity here to stack a couple more points.
Yeah, really utilizing the field, giving herself as much opportunity as possible in that lower section.
A couple hacks here in the powder.
That was nice.
Don't let that powder go to waste.
No.
Okay, so both women in the first heat having some wins, having a little bit of trouble as well. I mean,
Intel gathering run. Intel
yes.
gathering
There you go.
run.
Yes. Range finders. I mean, again, they have one more run. They're going to get to sit and think about this. And
It was just like zipper. It was like so firm.
And I just wanted to say that's also what people say about me. A beautiful hack.
Well, got that out of the way. I was like,
I honestly think it's kind of a relief now. Like once you come down, you figure out what's in there. What am I on top of? Your second run is going to go so much better. There's the backflip.
it's a fine line between adrenaline and anxiety, right? You want to be on that adrenaline side, and you can kind of let some steam off with this first go and be familiar with the terrain. That looks very, very hard to see in that moment.
The backflip, starting that run, that's the strong point. But, I'll argue that the backflip is an inverted straight air. It's not as technical as, say, putting your edge in and doing a 360 off of something. Or a switchback one to start your run. That Spencer would do that trick in her sleep and slopestyle runs. I'm glad that she went to that. I look forward to her doing that again in this next run, and then she goes little ragdoll right there.
And the thing we have to remember is that they're on all new faces, all new terrain from yesterday. So they're back in like completely unfamiliar grounds.
Yeah. I mean, all they have to go on is what they've seen today, plus the photos and videos. I mean, that is no easy task. And I do love how Spencer opted to open up her run with such a consequential trick.
Mary, how much do you think this is like instinct to play into this for any rider that's thrown into this? Because you don't know where you're going.
I think a significant amount. I mean, you've got to use every tool in the toolbox, right?
Yeah. So Madison will have the advantage here. The higher score, 62.6 for Madison. Much more to come. Now our second matchup is getting ready up top for our semifinals.
Yeah,
and
so
this one is major.
Yeah, this one's going to be very interesting.
No, I would argue that there's 2 sharks in the water in this heat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
there you go.
I said it.
Okay.
I think so.
Low-hanging fruit, Mary.
You got to take the wins where you can.
You really can. All right, Sarka Pancochova coming into this, looking to bring her freestyle background into it, up against Elena Hight, who puts herself on big terrain, is able to interpret weird-looking features and make it look effortless.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about losing where you are on the face, and I think Elena is one of those riders who is very comfortable and knows how to read lines, similar to Travis Rice. Like the way he reads mountains and can translate them to then riding down them after just a few glances is such a skill, and I do believe Elena has that. But again, Sarka, she is not to be underestimated.
So here's what I predict, Mary, correct me if I'm wrong. Sarka's going to hit the jumps up top here, and this is where she may have a slight advantage over Elena as far as tricks go.
Yeah, she does have such a big freestyle background.
There we go.
Landing that big backflip, perfect.
Perfectly. And as we could see with Madison Blackley, that her backflip went a long way.
And we're going backside 360 right here. Oh, and she gets taken down, but she's back on her feet.
Little heel catch.
Speed is your friend, though, at the same time. I feel like the riders that have been carrying more momentum down this face are the ones that have a higher make ratio.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so deep. If you're going a bit slower, you can just sink to the bottom.
Yeah, you
whereas,
just flop.
Yeah, when you're going faster, you're kind of planing on the top of the snow.
Here we go, Sarka. Point it off this thing. Easier said than done.
I've seen her drop some cliffs in recent times at research and development, and she does not have a lot of fear that she won't act on.
Yeah, Sarka is willing to take a hit.
Nice.
Wow. Oh,
Stomped
that
it.
was fantastic. When you are riding a matchup against Elena Hight, that is exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
Pushing some turns
And
here.
we were talking about reading lines. I think she put herself exactly where she wanted to be.
Yeah.
And it laced it, little front one.
Oh, gosh.
Oh.
A tree.
I don't think the judges will count that.
No, they're not going to count that.
That's just a fun run out. So overall, solid starting off with that backflip. A little struggle on the back three, but in the bottom, I mean, that drop was flawless. You could not have landed that better. Listen to the crowd. Oh my God, I love it.
I think that was really a banner run. I think she put a flag down that Elena is now going to have to answer to. I mean, that was a really, really solid run. And it's so interesting, too, because Sarka qualified through research and development after losing the duel. So, I mean, just really showing her prowess here with her showing.
Sarka bringing home some souvenirs. 10 pounds of snow. Okay, so straight back up to the top here, Elena Hight. Do you think Elena's going to traverse way over to where we saw Jared Elston go and, and Craven go earlier?
That's a very good point. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Let's put it that way.
My instinct says yes to that because I'm sure she wants to kind of lay down a hammer in the beginning, kind of like make her presence known. And like you were saying, Eddie, I fully agree that like Elena has such a sense of terrain and just finding her way in terrain she's not familiar with.
You know what I will say too is an advantage, and it may seem superficial, but the fact that she's got that lime green Arc'teryx coat on, for the judges to be able to see what you're doing, it does help.
Yeah.
It really does help.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Putting herself on top of this. Oh, little cross court.
Little frontside air. Now she's, okay, so she is cutting over to where she can play to her strengths.
There we go, method. It's a steep terrain littered with trees. And I will say those trees are going to help with visibility. So it is nice to get into the trees, although they do add a risk factor if you start cartwheeling down the slope.
Don't worry, the tree will stop your momentum.
Here we go.
Just the turns making her way down to very decisive,
Oh,
very flowy.
Nice. Yeah, putting herself in some steep terrain.
But that, that's pretty pedestrian for what she is capable of. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
right
shit,
now.
this is the similar Stale line. Look at that.
Nice.
Okay. I mean, she executed it really, really well. It wasn't quite as consequential as what we saw her ride yesterday, but that, I mean, we can't judge her against herself,
No,
really,
right.
It's like that was a solid line.
And she stayed on her feet the entire way, no hesitation.
Right.
Kind of flowed the entire course. So it will be interesting.
I think the advantage goes to Elena Hight here.
Yeah.
I agree.
And the intel that she just gathered
Yes.
from where she went is going to be devastating.
Yeah, in
for
the next run.
Yes, that's some intel, too, on how the snow is reacting with each turn. I mean, yeah, that's worrisome. Worrisome behavior right there.
This round going very, very fast. Semifinals. We will end up with having finalists after the next round. There is the up and over backflip, Wildcat style. We are in Canada. We call it a Wildcat.
Wildcat, yeah. I think, and this is where she struggled. Got a little over-rotate, cooked that heel edge, which I'm sure, obviously, the judges are going to dock her. But then laced that perfectly.
Yeah, that was a really nice drop, and that is some gnarly exposure right there. And that's beautiful turn.
So she basically had a strong start and a strong finish and a little bobble in the middle. Now Elena, on the other hand, kind of cruised the whole course smooth with speed and confidence. Look at this, just
That was
method.
decent size in the trees.
Oh yeah. And then again, she kind of, after this bottom line, she had enough experience to be able to cut riders right and pop off the same little zone that Stale did earlier, right here.
I do think that Elena, there's way more gas in the tank as far as what she is capable of.
Yeah, I feel like watching Elena right now is watching a lion kind of circle the perimeter of a wildebeest herd right now. Like, she's going to strike, and she's getting there, but she has not let it loose yet.
Yeah, I think she has some more in her tank, but I do think she's going to squeak this one.
Elena Hight with the advantage, 79 to 77. So Elena Hight's going to go back up, probably go back in that same zone. Maybe grab that drone that went down a little while ago. Has anyone checked on that drone?
I really think that her lack of hesitation, her flow through that, she hit, so many different features at the top. I think that really plays to her advantage, just that overall full pull and ability.
Elena's got a lot of experience in the bib. So we're going to head straight back up to the top and drop Madison Blackley against Spencer O'Brien for their second runs. But so far, this venue, completely different than yesterday. Yesterday was all about, perfectly set up kind of parky features in the backcountry. This is more like, okay, we're going to give you one to jump off of, and then it's choose your line.
Yeah, that classic route finding adventure that is natural selection.
Yeah, and like we said, the judges are obviously going to reward you for doing some technical tricks at the top, but I think everybody knows, like, they want to see them on exposed terrain on those scary steep faces, because after all, this is like the natural selection. This is they want to see you get into the gnar.
Well, it's going to be great. All right, so we're going to go and talk about our natural connections. We have YETI, who is proud to be a partner of this for multiple years. It wouldn't be possible to do natural selection without YETI. And they're a partner for the natural selection ski that's coming up. They're providing custom drinkware for the riders. It's great. Wouldn't be able to do this without YETI. This is Natural Connections.
In British Columbia, water is more than a force of nature. It's the pulse of the land. Revelstoke is nestled in the Selkirk Mountains. Fueled by deep snowpacks and heavy rains, this range creates the conditions for one of the rarest ecosystems on the planet, the inland temperate rainforest. The annual precipitation here falls below the average of what defines a rainforest. However, winter makes the difference. Storms off the Pacific travel to the interior, colliding with the mountains, which stack snow in Revelstoke and high in the surrounding Selkirk Range. Snowpacks average up to 18 meters or 60 feet per season, making Revelstoke one of the snowiest places on Turtle Island. The annual snowpack seeps deep into the earth, feeding the underground network that sustains the fresh water long after winter has ended. Snow is the magical element that keeps the ancient rainforest alive. The Columbia River system collects the runoff that the land surrenders and returns it to the Pacific Ocean to begin again. Here in British Columbia, the movement of the water doesn't just shape the landscape, it powers the region. Hydroelectricity generates more than 80% of British Columbia's energy. This cycle is a connection between mountains and communities. It carves canyons, sustains forests, and fuels cities. Water doesn't just move through the landscape, it shapes it.
Welcome back to the YETI Natural Selection, and as I was saying, we can't do this without great partners like YETI, so thank you for them to helping out. Now, we're here, we're talking about snowboarding, but as you can see by my sick tan line, I'm a huge surfer as well, and I was so excited to see Natural Selection dip their toes into the water and bring us Natural Selection surf, bring in the ethos of what made Natural Selection so special, and bringing it to the surf. Let's check it out for a look back at Natural Selection Surf.
These type of conditions and swells, it's something special. I'm just stoked to be here and can't wait to see what happens in the next couple days.
We're all getting a chance to do what we love doing, which is showing our art form in surfing. I'm pretty excited to see how something different turns out, and I'm stoked to be a part of it.
It's in the middle of nowhere, no one surfed it. Would you like to come? I was like, yeah.
Boom, natural selection surf. It is great to see people that you don't normally see in the CT. Eitan Osborne, where are you going to see him in a contest? It's awesome. Check it out, natural selection surf. We are back here in the women's semifinals for run number 2. Straight back up to the top of this intimidating venue. Madison Blackley will drop first up against Spencer O'Brien. Madison has the advantage now going into run number 2. Gathered some intel. They know what's in store for them. And the light right now, Mary, looks like it's pretty decent.
Yeah, it does. It looks significantly nicer than it did earlier. And that's going to help both of these women because, of course, as you said, they had range-finding runs. They both, had solid elements in each of their drops, but now they've got a little more familiarity with this previously unknown terrain, and they can let loose even more.
Yeah, and again, we were saying that first run, it's the first time they've gone down that slope. So they have a little bit better lay of the land, and I do suspect that Spencer is going to try to come back and stomp that run.
Mm-hmm. I think so too, and it's like you watch the body language when they drop in on the second run compared to the first. Every competitor that's in this, everyone seems more relaxed, more like kind of bouncy with their riding. So less rigidity, because this course is all about having flow, and you need to be a noodle going down through some of these features.
I really like this matchup because both Madison and Spencer have the last couple of years been putting their time in the backcountry, and it really shows. Their footage, their every year just keeps building on itself. Really, really exciting to watch.
Here we go, up and over, inverted straight air, big one.
There it is, the Wildcat.
Puts down the landing gear very nicely as she heads into that rider's right area, putting herself into some spicy arenas.
Half cab. It's a switch 180 right there off of that little mushroom. Trying to line up similar line than she had on run number 1. On top of this exposure right here, look at this. It's so blind, just the way it rolls away. You feel like you're going to land in the valley if you just take any speed off.
That's all you see is the valley floor.
And Madison, of course, she hails from Utah, so she spends a lot of time riding places like Brighton Resort, which is known for its consequential cliffs. So this is terrain that she is, relatively comfortable in.
Opening up a little bit of a new area for her.
Yeah, as you can see, she's kind of scoping it.
Oh boy,
here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, that looks good.
Pointing it, and it looks like she might have butt checked a little bit.
Yeah, I think what happens is you're like, oh my gosh, a feature. I got to throw the brakes on.
Yep.
Like when your instincts are just like, ride this out straight. Any other day, if you weren't trying to put points on the board, you probably would just straight line it out of that.
Yeah.
Oh, so fast. That was so fast. Jesus.
Well, it gets the heart beating right there. I'm excited to see that potentially from another angle on the replay to kind of see exactly what the route was there.
Yeah, this snow is so light and so fluffy that it just you just get white roomed all the time, and it's hard to almost see what's happening.
So starting that run off strong, that big old backflip to get things going. But I'll tell you, the way to wow judges, besides money, is you need to start strong with a big banger, and you need to end with a banger.
Yeah.
So if there's one piece of advice for any of these riders, you've got to find a feature at the bottom to put that exclamation point on your run.
Capital the start of the sentence and put an exclamation point on the end.
When in doubt, that's right, run it out.
When in doubt, run it out. Quote from Jeff Pensiero.
I thought that was a homeless man from Revelstoke. Let anybody up here. Jeff Pensiero, obviously owner of Baldface. A lot of these people have gotten their starts at Baldface Ride and Pow.
Okay, so there we go. See the Wildcat up at top, and then we have the half cab off of that little spot. And here's what we really want to see is kind of what went down on this line.
In her outrun, she goes, that was so fast. That was so fast.
I really have a feeling she saw those two kickers.
Yep.
And threw the brakes on.
Yeah. And again, with the visibility as it is, it's a little bit different of a game out there.
Nice work, Madison. So we're going to go straight back up to the top. Spencer O'Brien about to drop. Arc'teryx rider. Big shout out to Arc'teryx for making this happen as well.
It's that those brand new sleds.
Well, you hear that. Okay, so I would think that was kind of cool. There's not a lot of downtime, not a lot of time for you to get cold and think. I would, personally, I would rather be straight back up and into it once again.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, because it's so much about the mental game, and if you have too much downtime, it's hard to stay in that zone.
All right, we're going to go to the top of the course. Hannah Beeman, what is your vibe?
My vibe is groovy, baby, all the time. We're up here. The girls, you know, the girls are up here. They're excited. I think, you know, it's always a hard choice between like doing what you planned or adjusting depending on what happens with your competitor. So I think it's just a mental game. It's whether you're just like, you know what, I'm going to lay down what I wanted and I'm going to feel good about it, or if you're like nimble enough to switch it up and pivot depending on what the rider does before you. So, you know, these girls, they're adaptable, they're talented, they're just kind of dialing in their runs. That was their first run of the day. They got their feet on the ground, and I think we're going to see them kind of tighten it up and hopefully nail these next runs.
Thanks, Beams. You got your shop glasses. He's got his shop glasses on up there.
It's like they're like sunglasses, but just goggle lenses.
Yeah,
That's the trick.
Great. You can see her eyes. Let's toss it down the stand. Someone that we don't actually want to see his face, so he's got those Oakley Prism lenses on to camouflage his bagged eyes. Oh, nope, they're up.
Well, sorry, Todd. It's my face you're going to have to suffer, and I'm sorry to all of the people watching at home. But we are at the bottom. Madison, Blackley, getting out in that run one yesterday, probably feeling incredible to do so. Now putting some stuff down here. I mean, as someone who kind of came into this NST rookie, and now you've moved on to day two, I know that you are someone who has been so dedicated to this contest and the mental strength that it takes. How does it feel to be where you are now?
Man, what a journey. It feels good. And honestly, it's just snowboarding and POW, which is just, you know, is that what everyone wants to do?
The answer is yes.
Yeah,
the answer is
it
yes.
She's
Matt.
totally
yes.
correct.
Yes, we all want to do that.
There was no need to respond because we all want to do that all the time.
Super. I mean, look, if you have the chance to compete in this contest, and we're all sitting here on this couch, we are armchair competitors. I'm looking at these features and thinking like what I would do, and the reality is something completely different.
And you know, too, worth noting that all these riders today, if you made it to finals day, you've already punched your ticket for next year's natural selection. So, you know, you're playing the long game. You're like, I'm coming back.
Here we go. Spencer O'Brien getting ready to drop. She had a little bit of trouble on her switch backside 180. You could hear the audible as she went into that too. She kind of hooked up in the deep snow and she was like, oh, and then you try to just force it to happen. I think she's going to take a different line into it this time and nail it.
Yeah, Todd, to echo what you said, it's so easy to sit back and watch this on your TV or your computer or your phone or whatever and be like, well, why didn't they drop that? Or why didn't they do that? Like, I would have done this. And the answer is, you most likely would not. Because when you are there in person, you're on the top of some of these faces, it is such a different game.
Okay, she's dropping in regular.
There we go.
Going back three, and she nails it.
Big one, carrying a ton of speed.
Oh, beautiful toe side turn right there. That was a celebration for executed back three. And now picking her way kind of toward that similar terrain, that consequential line.
There's a couple booters down there. If you can kind of nail this upper line and keep it tight, you'll have access to, like we were saying, that exclamation point. Yeah, Spencer.
Yeah, that top section is going to put the pressure onto Madison right now as she comes down on this last part of the course, the lower part of the course.
Oh, white room. All right, sitting down a little bit just before this.
Still, though, it wasn't technically a fall. It was
No.
a stop. There we go,
Oh,
Spencer.
nice.
Now she still has access to some more features down here as well.
There we
go. So advantage, I would say, goes to Spencer O'Brien on run number 2. We're just going to have to see how those scores stack up against each other.
That like three at the top though was really
Huge.
well executed.
Huge.
And then you know the train at the bottom, even with pausing, I think that's going to be high.
On the top of the cliff, I kicked the tree with my tail. Oh my god! Oh, it started to break, and I was like, oh no! Oh my gosh, dude.
All right, let's check this recap. Look at that big old backflip. Now, the top two moves, we're going to have to look at these back-to-back and see who has the advantage there.
That's that straight line at the top. That's so steep.
Yeah, the straight line point is almost like, you know, if you had a shoot right there, just like pointing it all the way through. But I do feel like Spencer's bottom of her run was just perhaps a little bit more consequential.
Nice back three and then beelining. I think she almost wanted to go a little bit to rider's right and got off path. But look at that, like that's solid drop. And before that solid drop, she was doing some toe turns in very, very steep terrain, which is, again, high consequence, which is what the judges like to see. So, yeah, I mean, I think Spencer might...
Tight match, though, for sure.
Yep.
All right, so Spencer O'Brien with the 78.6 will be moving on to the final. We have our first finalist here in the women's YETI Natural Selection. Straight back up to the top. We keep this moving. We're trying to beat a storm out here, ladies and gentlemen. Sarka Pancochova is about to drop.
And you know what? It's a little flat light and a little snowy, but guess what? It's low winds right now, and that is a huge benefit because when you have high winds in terrain like this, it is it's not a good situation.
Okay, Sarka straight into it. Coming out of the Czech Republic.
Drop it and switch.
Switch 5, up this first.
Look at that.
Massive
There we
540.
go. Okay.
Yeah,
level raised.
Well, she knows. She knows what she's up against with Elena Hight, and she knows exactly what Elena's going to do.
That was big.
But a comp is not won on one move.
And here we go. That's why we love to see her heading right toward the spicy mustard area of this side of the course, among many.
Oh boy, look at this. There's some fancy sauce in this one.
Okay.
Looking for some opportunity here. Like when you're looking at it from the drone, you're just seeing all this opportunity pass by, but
there we go.
There we go.
Okay. Oh,
nice.
Nailed that landing. A little bit of the brakes, but rode out.
All right, so we've got some damage on this run. That giant 540.
Look at that hack. You know, I think it's really exciting watching Sarka right now because we've known her for years, you know, in the contest, the slopestyle scene, and we're kind of watching this like momentum that she's been building in the backcountry start to really let loose, and it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Amazing run there. Look at the smile on her face. I mean,
That was sick. That was so sick. Up top. I can't wait till we get the replays, but before we get that, we're going to head up and watch where Elena Hight goes on this next run. Yeah. And so what do you think, like, as far as judges go? I mean, you've got that one big starter move, and it's
Thanks everybody for watching.
arguably the gnarliest move thrown as far as airtime trick goes.
I think that was one of the most impressive tricks we saw on the first feature, for sure. Right here, look at this. Getting corked and
big.
stomping it like as good as you can. Kind of, you know, butt checks so low, but that was like past the landing, I would say.
That was almost like a reaction to, oh my gosh, I'm going 1,000 miles an hour into some trees.
Yeah, and that angle shows how steep that is right there.
I mean, and you think about this is her first showing in natural selection. This is kind of what she's bringing to the table. This again is like a bit of a precursor of what we can expect from her. You know, if she makes it into finals in future iterations down the line. I mean, there's just a lot of momentum with Sarka right now.
Solid goggle tan.
Yeah, it's so exciting watching her in this kind of terrain, and it's the same way that, like, you know, during the first year's natural selection scene, Elena explode into the backcountry was so exciting and still is. Like, you know, just this platform is huge.
All right.
Elena Hight will now be dropping. We saw where she went on her first run. She's the most at home in, as Mary says, that spicy terrain, the stuff that makes you hesitate.
Yeah.
But that is her strength. She does not hesitate in the steeper exposed terrain.
Hesitation or, like, you know, gentle weeping, whatever, you know, whatever you prefer.
Thumb sucking.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But I think when you put Elena into moments like this that blend that, fierce competition mindset that she has utilized and been tapping into from a very young age and into these mountains. I mean, she grew up riding in Tahoe. This is in her blood.
Yep.
She just turns into another mode.
All right, well, here she goes as she drops in here. Already the recipient of the BOA Dialed In Award from this morning. A little bit of a butt check on the front side 360. Gigantic transfer.
Over the gap. First rider to do that.
Over here.
Making her way to rider's left, which is going to put her into some very steep terrain. But small bobble at the top, so she is going to want to redeem herself down in this zone. But if anyone can do it, it's Elena.
Look at this double line. Boink.
Nice.
Boink.
Okay.
Boink. Triple.
Wow.
Oh!
Ooh.
Looked like
Body check.
Yeah.
kind of fell in a bit of a hole there. Oh boy.
Oh,
so
man,
I
the
mean,
nail biting begins.
I'm gonna say that Sarka
For
got
this
that round.
For this round.
That round.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't know what her score will be, but I know I think Sarka's gonna take this round.
And they were tight. There's not even 2 points. There's 1.4 separating them from that first run.
Yeah, this
So
is going to
that's-
be interesting to see how this shakes out.
Not a lot of breathing room on either side right now.
Score from the first run, so it has the advantage. Sarka definitely put down a horrendous challenge is that though. And now it's in the hands of the judges. Travis, one more time, take us through that.
Okay, here we go. Let's check out this recap. Straight away, Sarka with the big 540 dips that shoulder, using her slope style prowess, putting it on display.
Yeah, with the 5 and then this ender here.
Yeah.
Staying on her feet, keeping it clean. I think that's gonna. I think for this run, I think it will take Elena. Now, Elena did gap over that.
That is so
super scary. So, but like you said, Todd, you want to start strong and finish strong, and unfortunately, she went down on this line, the very technical line, into that hole, kind of.
It looks like just enough where there's a little bit of a pause, but how much will the judges dock for that?
So we're going to go to Elena's, more likely than not, Elena's first run score, and how will that match up against Sarka's 540 and that cliff drop. So Sarka's got to come up higher than a 79.
Oh, so close.
Oh my gosh, Elena Hight takes that round by virtue of run number 1. So our final is set. Spencer O'Brien will face off with Elena Hight for the women's YETI Natural Selection Final. Oh boy, we are set up for a match.
Yeah, that's a match of all matches right there. Oh, look at these hugs at the bottom. I love it.
The two veterans.
Yeah.
I mean, they were competing alongside each other. We had Spencer in slopestyle. Elena was riding pipe at that point. Both going to the Olympics for 2 different events completely. And here they are meeting in the backcountry at this ultimate proving ground.
And teammates, Arc'teryx teammates now, riding in the
go.
backcountry. I mean, yeah, that's a heck of a match.
All right, it looks like we're setting up to set up with Stan. Stan's with Elena.
Hey, Elena.
Hey, Stan.
Elena, so incredible to watch that, especially after that performance yesterday. I've actually made an official bid to change that hit that you had to the height meter. And it's got to feel good to pull through into finals. Talk us through what you were going into after seeing Sarka land that 5.
Yeah, Sarka is such a strong rider, and it's been such a pleasure to see her ride here. And so I did that Cap 5, and I was like, well, I better hit that jump. The viz is really tough today. So just kind of picking your way down. I ended up on top of a triple line I didn't really think I was on. So just a lot of freestyle in here.
Well, you handled it like a champion, made it all the way to finals where you'll be taking on Spencer O'Brien. Such a cool matchup. Great luck to you.
Thank you, Stan.
Yeah, Elena Hight. She's been in this situation before. Will we see a repeat? Elena Hight going home with it again.
Yeah, I mean, she is such a fierce competitor, and that, as we said, combination with her ability to retrain, just like she said, she wasn't expecting to be on top of that 3-pack, and yet she just makes it look like she was planning it the whole time.
Yeah, and the theme that we've been talking about, over the days here is like building momentum, right? And alongside that comes with the constant progression of snowboarding. Let's take a little piece. Let's talk about a little piece of that here, right now.
Back at Revelstoke Mountain Resort, stoked to be here, year 3. Things are looking really good out there and have a new revamped venue coming our way. Really excited to be here.
Every year something changes. There's a constant process of evolution. We keep moving the goalposts. We want it to be bigger and better. So coming in December to figure out what that ultimate product looks like so that we can get it dialed by the time we go live in March. Crew here on Revelstoke have been nothing but yes, like let's go, let's do the thing. And that's leading to evolution at a rate that we don't normally see. We're working with a resort partner. I mean, this will be the first year we're doing full live venue production at Revelstoke, which really changes the equation in terms of what we're going to have to build out for folks in the finish. And the experience is going to be unlike anything we've ever done before.
Look at that. I mean, it goes way further out left.
This summer we did 13 weeks of manufacturing and making things a bit more extravagant. It's sick. This is my first time seeing it in winter and it looks really good. The opportunity to get gnarly is a little bit more this year, which is what we want to see.
It's black and white, it's all around. Can't trust the puppet in the office. There's more to life than meets the eye. But it's over now. And we're never gonna rest until it's true. I need a revolution. I need a revolution.
Surfing in Indonesia, is like, wow, so much of what I'm seeing floating in the ocean is packaging. And that's a supply chain that I'm a part of. A New Earth project was born from that. How do we innovate these products in a way that they can find their way into the economy and also support a healthy planet? It's really just all about scale. If we want to solve a global plastic crisis, you got to go to the largest organizations in the world that are packaging the most stuff. Now we are inviting large brands of all shapes and sizes to be a part of this with us. We're focused on healthier, more earth-friendly packaging and do it in an efficient and economical way. The world is waking up to the need for sustainable solutions.
There we go. There we go.
Try not to make it lame.
Welcome back to the YETI Natural Selection live from Revelstoke Mountain Resort. In the southwest corner of the side country, you will find Montana Bowl, and this is the selector venue. We got into the west side of this zone yesterday. Now it is the turn of the east side of the zone for finals. Women's was spectacular. Now we get stuck into the men's semi-finals. We've got the finals coming up straight after that, where there will be $25,000 up for grabs for each of the winners, $129,000 total prize purse, and of course those Skidoo Summit X's. So we're getting into the business end of this competition.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing Hannah mentioned that's really important is she was like, we thought that some of these lines were going to be saved for the finals, and people were already going to them in the semi-final, and in the qualifier. So I think that already shows the level that these riders are at. They're like, every run is essentially a finals run.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look at the brackets in the men's. So from the first round, it was Blake Moller and Gigi Ruff who made it through. And then it's Stale Sandbech going toe-to-toe with Jared Elston. So who do you fancy out of these? I feel like there's nothing to pick between the first two. Blake and Gigi both on a roll. Look like they're enjoying that. If any, I think Stale has slightly the upper hand in terms of what we've seen so far, but Jared's got the potential to get into some of those big lines.
Well, it's like you said, we were talking about before. Stale probably has a little bit more of the tech upper trick section maybe on lock, but Jared is going to put himself onto more precarious slopes.
But he's had two chances to do that, and he didn't go there.
No, but maybe he's waiting till this moment.
Maybe that's a brave thing to do. Okay, up at the top, Gigi Ruff, big, deep breath there. So Blake Moller stood just behind him there.
Look at that custom NST arbor board behind him. Wow, is that the rain? Wow, that's beautiful.
That is the rain, actually. It's the Arbor Rain, designed in collaboration with Pat Moore.
There we go.
Someone very clearly telling Gigi that he had an icicle hanging out of his nose there. I'm really pleased someone did that for him. So these are our two. We've got one of the most recognizable veterans in the game, Gigi Ruff, going up against one of the emerging faces on natural selection in 2025, Blake Moller.
Note the age difference. Gigi 43, Blake 24.
Very close. You know, very similar slang terms. That's similar generations.
Okay.
Okay, the improv king right here.
Wow.
Big.
Oh,
Just getting hung up on the other side of that tree right there on that
Just
tree.
drifting way too far left off that. He was looking for a fresh bit of snow, but he ended up in the well.
Yeah, and I don't think he wanted to go be where he is right now either.
Switchback one.
Oh, that was nice.
Lovely.
And again, I mean, I think the majority of this competition, it favors the riders who can think on their toes, because the chances of you getting off of your line are highly more likely than you not getting off your line.
Okay, he's coming all the way across here on top of that cliff we saw Sarka on before.
Oh, here we go, back three.
My gosh.
Beautiful.
Look at that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not even thinking about the top of the run anymore.
So in that high beam zone, named
really
after
sick.
Hannah Beeman.
Wow. Okay, talk about thinking on your feet and, you know, utilizing the terrain. That was just archetypal of, of a beautiful second half right there.
So Nils Mindnich pulled off the he pulled a 3 in there, and we saw what that did for him, delivered him straight into the finals in Selkirk Tangiers last year.
And
the frustration on that 3.
Yeah. But that fueled him for the bottom. He was like, I know I have to put something down in the bottom to stoke out the judges, and he did just that with that back 3. And if you look close, he kind of does lands on a bit of a pillow in the landing.
It was so sick.
So we saw Mikey Ciccaerelli leave the door just ajar for Blake Moller in the first of those quarterfinals with a fall. Now Blake Moller finds himself in the same position. He can make real headway here in the first of these semi-finals if he can lay down a big score.
I mean, well, he is a heat-seeking missile for landings, this guy. I mean, he just puts it down and makes it look so smooth, like that big back one.
And he's got all the classics in his bag, hasn't he? The backflip, the front 7, the switchback 1.
Wait, that my bad. He did that so clean. That was a switchback one.
Yeah, switchback 1 to open.
A nice backflip. So already has 2 solid tricks under his belt and flowing in the flow state, as you might call it.
Because it's a switchback 1, it's actually a frontside half cab. So does that make it a frontside indie?
Oh,
I have to ask Tom. Okay, he's on top of that big stack again. This is where we know Blake Moller thrives.
What?
Oh my
Straight
gosh.
line through the double over the bell.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, what?
That
Oh
was,
my God.
Wow.
How did he get that 3?
That was crazy. That was like a cat gracefully falling from a tree.
It looked at points there. It looked like he was riding a salmon, not a snowboard.
Oh my God!
I thought he didn't even see that pillow coming at him, and he was just going to air chair, and then all of a sudden he squeaks a 3-0.
Crowd absolutely loving BMO, the barrel seeker.
Teammates.
Pat McCarthy hyped right now.
Okay, let's take another look back at this. So that switchback one after he'd aborted the front three. Got some lovely fresh turns down there, and you know that'll max out the creativity.
Okay, and that natty 3,
That was gnarly.
I mean, that is so consequential.
It's beautiful, isn't it? And he was pinballing around in the landing too.
Oh, we missed the jib at the bottom.
Dink on the ski.
There's that switchback one, frontside half cab.
It makes it look so smooth. I didn't even realize. I forgot he was regular.
The backy.
Backy off a downhill takeoff. And look at this line. This face is so sketch.
He's doing so much
No speed check.
Treats that like a double.
Look right here.
That is crazy.
What?
That was unreal.
Just a never say die attitude.
Yeah.
That's
I've
terrifying.
got this, I've got this, I've got this.
I feel scared of Blake.
You know,
where he could take this.
So this is what's interesting. Blake had a solid upper part of the run and then a little bit of a struggle at the bottom. Gigi had a struggle at the top and a solid bottom. And there it is, a 75.0 Gigi.
To a 66.3, 8.7 between them. So a bit of work for Blake Moller to do, but you can see the potential in the run.
Absolutely. I mean, if he can hold on in that section in his run number 2, I mean, that's a game over.
I feel like watching Blake is like watching a freight train come directly at you.
Yeah,
it's like
southbound.
exciting. Yeah, it's exciting and also frightening, but in a, it's cool.
Okay, second of our semi-finals, Jared Elston versus Stale Sandbech. Stale up there. Trying to listen in on what's going on. So Jared on Arc'teryx, Arbor and Dragon. Stale rocking the Oakleys up there. Norway versus, I think it's Oslo versus Bend.
Yeah, Goofy versus regular.
Yeah. So I love that flaming strap he's got on the Oakleys.
Yes.
He's properly going for it, isn't it?
Yeah, Stale, again, no stranger to competition. Slope style, big air.
Dropping in switch.
Oh.
Cab
okay.
5. That looked like.
Looked like he stomped it perfectly. Kind of
Yeah.
got blocked by a tree. What?
Oh!
Front
Okay.
5 off the side of that diving board.
That was sick. Oh my
all
gosh.
right.
It's a cab 5.
Okay, so he's had 3 5s.
Okay, danger lights are flashing right now. This is impressive.
Damn, that was... We called it. We were saying he was going to get tech on the top, and he
Yeah.
did 3 5s before his run even got started.
He's a weapon. You can't underestimate Stale. He's such a competitor and
is.
so smooth, and that was just brilliant.
That is everything.
And there it is, the method.
Oh!
So the triple, there was a tiny bit of repetition down there.
That's the one thing I'll say. Yeah, nice back 3, kind of spontaneous. But like you said, Ed, I do think the judges, and he did that. I mean, that run was insane. He had 3 5s and then went into that line, laced the little double tap, and then into the method. Flawless line, but a similar bottom zone as before, which I know the judges are going to dock him for.
And we're going to go into a little bit of a natural selection history lesson here. The first judging criterion, 2021 and Jackson Hole 2022, was Dave. Difficulty, amplitude, variety, execution. It was changed in boldface in 2022 because we'd seen a couple of riders, probably most notably Mark McMorris, knew the system and he rode the same line throughout Jackson in 2021 and won with it.
Yep.
So the credo, creativity at the top there, was introduced to stop you ride doing exactly that. So if the judges are watching out for it, that could be a big factor in a score for Stale Sandbech.
That's the only thing I could see him getting docked for. Everything else on that run was flawless, and the bottom was perfect. But again, I think I'm curious to see, how the judges are gonna, if they'll dock him a bit for taking a similar line.
If you look at it, he's got a 1440 technically with the 3 5s. So.
Well, that's the thing too, just the route finding throughout all those top hits so fast and nailing them all.
So you got that Arbor Patmore Pro model, but Jared dropping in on the El Camino, the board that he has had an integral part of designing, and it looks like a little shifty over the corner of that kicker, and he's going to make his way right across to the riders left of this venue. Some of the steepest and most exposed lines. We saw it first time coming in switch.
Oh,
Okay.
going for that chicane kind of.
Not getting it all the way around.
Not getting enough speed, unfortunately. Here we go.
Back 7?
I believe that was
Put
a
it
7.
down.
It was
How
hard to
did
see.
How did he get purchase on that?
And just hauling through the trees, through that tight tree section.
Up on top of the brick.
Hitting the brakes just barely.
Okay.
Wow.
Following Dustin's line, right on the corner of this.
Look at that slough waterfall.
Oh, goodness.
That is scary.
Oh, he couldn't find that transition and he bumps through.
Oh.
Like we said, we knew he was going to put himself on some exposed faces, and that's exactly what he did. But it looked like he had a bit of a struggle. So I'm going to call Stale on that first run.
Being the highest?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm with you, Eddie, I think.
Oh, fuck. Wow. You're having such a good job.
So we'll await the judges' score to drop, but Jared Elston, great run there. Couple bobbles though versus Stale.
Shout out Dan Rhodes for that Arbor graphic.
It's going to go to Stale.
So it's only the first round here. Remember that. First of 2 runs. Stale with that cab 5 to start off.
I think one of the things
From
about
5.
Stale's run is that his route finding, that top section, he had no hesitation to seem to understand exactly where he was going.
Yeah, he knew he'd linked together all of those features in his mind long before he got there, hadn't he?
Yeah, I mean, especially watching that again, he actually almost ollied up to that side hit where he did the cork front 5. I mean, oh, but look at that 7. That was so gnarly.
That angle is really shows it so much better.
Just going straight line through the trees.
God,
and look at how sketchy that is.
That.
See, that was got a little hung up there.
Oh,
man.
Maybe I thought he was going to try and nose over and find a bit more transition where he stalled, but actually did want to be on that lump, didn't he, just to kill the speed?
Yep.
Otherwise, you're out into the flat. So steep there. Apologies, Jared. Okay, so 91 for Stale.
All right.
So 73 for Jared. He's like, what did you do?
With the 91. And Jared really has got his work done out for him.
Dang, a 91. That is going to be hard to trump.
That is a massive statement from not just Stale, but from the judges as well.
I really think that top part that he handled so deftly, I mean, he really kind of just showed this tenacity up there that had no hesitation.
Yeah, he was so clear.
And, we were talking about how the judges, with Stale taking his similar run before, apparently didn't matter at all,
Yeah. Well, that might come in. Okay, we've got one of these. If you don't know what it is a transceiver. You use it in an avalanche. It's made by Mammoth, and they are supporting us in all of our snow safety efforts up on site. Check this out. It'll get you up to speed.
Here in Revelstoke, British Columbia itself is a pretty amazing place. The snowpack tends to be really consistent here. We get a lot of snowfall. Usually our avalanche cycles last a certain amount of time and then clear up, and we get periods of really good stability and low hazard. I chose to live here because of just the consistent snowfalls, the amazing tree skiing, the amazing alpine. It's just kind of got it all. It's a really unique place to live, to be a skier, snowboarder, splitboarder, whatever you want. This is the backcountry. Just because we're accessed it from the ski hill, this is still the backcountry. The second you step outside that boundary, it's uncontrolled and you are in the backcountry. We're with the NST production crew. One of the goals is to refresh on some of our avalanche search and rescue techniques. A little bit of transceiver work, a little bit of probing, a little bit of shoveling, a little bit of talk about how to manage an injury. Say someone was to get hurt with a toboggan, how to get them out, communications, just the whole gamut.
Everyone who's out here today is kind of our core crew, people I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the backcountry with this season. So making sure we're all on the same page is super important to going into the season with confidence. The backcountry is where I love to spend most of my time. Definitely given me a lot of amazing moments, but it's also taken a lot from me too. And I think being well trained and learning the skills and taking it seriously is super important. Be well prepared and do your training and have fun out there.
Worn when it counts. Arc'teryx.
It's black and white, it's all around. Can't trust the puppet in the office. There's more to life than meets the eye. But it's over now. And we're never gonna rest until it's true. I need a revolution. I need a revolution.
If you've been living under a rock for the last 36 hours, then you'll need to know that this is the YETI Natural Selection live from Revelstoke. We have whittled the world's best snowboarders down to 4 men and 2 women. We're on the second and final runs of men's semi-finals, and it is all to play for. Gigi Ruff, he's sitting pretty at the moment, is he? Starlay's in the lead, and Gigi has got the lead just over Blake Moller, hasn't he? Yeah, there's 8.7 points. Just the lead for Gigi. So the boys going to take those iconic Dakine vests down the hill. Gigi from Vorarlberg, Western Austria. Grown up under so many great European riders. You think he was on that early Burton 17?
Oh, yeah. I mean, has put out some of the most iconic snowboard parts ever in the industry.
Oh, yeah.
And not just some of the most iconic parts. You look at the volume he was putting out. Some years he'd have 2 or 3 full banger sections.
Yep.
It was a phenomenal work rate.
He has that classic air chair, one of the biggest airs to slams ever in Alaska, where he kind of comes down straight lining and sends it off a wind lip and probably goes about 140 feet.
I actually went to Alaska with Gigi, Justin Hosnek and Blair Habernick, and I watched Gigi tear Haynes to pieces. It was a thing of truly unbelievable, because Justin said, I stay wide on everything because you really don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
That must have been like watching dreamboarding in person.
Yeah. And the beauty is as he said at the bottom, sometimes he doesn't know what he's going to do.
Yeah. Totally spontaneous snowboarding. He comes round onto this beautiful kicker on the outside. Backflip there.
Yeah, I couldn't quite see. We got blocked by the tree there, so I couldn't quite tell what he did.
Yeah. Beautiful method.
Yeah, just boning it out.
He's got a little bit of a margin on Blake, but not enough to lay up here at all.
No, he cannot do a safety run here at all.
No, he definitely wants to put more space between him and Blake, if at all possible. And it looks like he's getting into some terrain that could let him do that.
The high beam zone.
Nice.
Straight air off that.
Oh.
Does he go? Oh, he went down there. A little bit of a Tommy.
So it's almost certainly after that, I think it was 72, somewhere around there, 72, 75. definitely a scratch run for Gigi. He's not going to improve on this.
That, I believe, will be a throwaway score as far it's not going to top his first run. So that opens the door for BMO, which is what we saw in the previous rounds, to where he can come back and have a shot at this.
Yeah, really showing he really can perform under pressure based off of yesterday.
I love that. You can watch him do some absolutely gigantic stuff, and then he just does some lovely little low-speed butters. My arm went really numb for a moment.
But it feels okay. I don't think I...
Okay.
Sounds like he might have smacked his arm on his leg or something. He said it went numb, but he said he's okay.
That would definitely explain what happened. I'm imagining it happened up top, potentially. Yep. Okay, Blake Moller riding that Hillside Project Louis board. It's like a tapered twin, but it's got so much pop in it. Super, super steep. Switchback side 5. He loved that switchback 1 in the first run, so he ramps it up to a switchback 5.
Okay, that backflip we've seen him throw, just laid out, lands it square.
It is so casual, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Super tech, and yet the style is immaculate.
This is setting up to be a dangerous line from BMO.
And it's wild that BMO is almost 20 years younger than Gigi, which is so hard to believe.
Using Starlay's line there.
Wow.
My God.
He saw that 91 for Starlay.
Okay.
So he's gone in and said, you know what, I can put some tech freestyle up top and I can use that triple down the bottom.
Yeah.
That is really smart riding.
You know, Blake is really freaking me out. I just feel like we're watching the tip of the iceberg of what this guy is capable of, and he is just coming through.
That was one of the most high-speed lines we have seen of the entire competition, including yesterday. That he was probably doing close to 50, 55 miles an hour there.
Crunch time now.
And he's
second runs of the semi-final. And Blake Moller's put down a scorcher. And we saw a very similar line from Starlay Sandbech for the highest score so far, a 91.
Yeah. And since this is in Canada, I should correct myself. I think he was doing about 70 kilometers an hour.
That was a really good conversion.
Very good.
Oh my God, that's what we couldn't see that first run.
Like back rodeo 5.
Wow.
Oh, so unlucky. Then he came off the side of that hit.
Oh, that's where he went
That's
down.
where he got his arm, wasn't it? Got ragdoll. Oh, you could see him banging his hand like,
yeah, he's like,
I can't
wait.
feel it.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So here we go. Let's watch this. Switchback 5, flawless.
With that tuck knee grab as well.
So sick. And then look at this line. Look how fast he is coming out of this.
That is a brilliant angle. It shows you the gradient and the fact that he aired into the top of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool when you get to see different angles because it really can put it into perspective. Some angles make it look a little mellower, and then some are like show actually how gnarly it is.
Unit? Thank you, bro. You too. So fun riding.
81 versus 75. Blake Moller takes it.
Wow.
In the first of our semi-finals. Gigi Roof, 2013 Ultra Natural champion, will still be top 4 here in Revelstoke.
Getting the hugs. Harrison Gordon, background props right there.
Yeah, big shouts to Harrison Gordon. And there's Mia Lamson also. Epic individuals in the crowd today.
Full crew. Severin van der Meer as well. Knocked out yesterday. Disappointment for him. But now we come into the second of our semi-finals. Jared Elston is on the ropes here. Jared's going to need something big. What does Starlay do? Biggest score of the day so far. You can't see him laying up, can you? Is he going to go and do some data gathering in the far left zones?
No, I think he's got to punch it to the floor again in this. You know, you can't, there's no time for data gathering when Jared Elston's at your heels.
What I am curious about is will he take that same line towards the bottom? Because I can't imagine him, he can't do it any better than he already did. So I feel like he's going to switch it up. He doesn't have a lot to lose at this point because he has a 91 on the board.
I think what we're seeing in Starlay and Blake's riding is really good strategic riding, where you're getting rangefinders all the time.
Yep.
They're gathering data.
There it is.
Oh. Beautiful switchback 5. So Starley liked what he saw from Blake.
There it is.
Oh, crippler almost. He's creating a transition, isn't he?
Look at the tree just
exploded.
He's added some great definition to the landing for everyone who comes after him.
A couple pine needles, but yeah, just kind of crippler into the tree.
So now, he is gonna.
Yeah,
It looks like he's going out a bit further left.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to switch it up a bit, which makes sense to me.
I love how he's using the side of that diving board though, like a transition.
Yeah. And if you watch this previous run, he actually kind of ollied up to it and then bounced off into that like kind of crippler 5.
Oh, wrong spot.
Wrong. Oh, shoot.
Well, you're on the corner of the brick here, Starlight.
He Ben-Ferged himself.
I like that it's not.
Okay. Oh, he's
Get
back
it.
on his feet.
Oh, man. Hey, we called it. He went for it. Nothing to lose.
For a man who was in the wrong spot, he didn't mess around.
Oh, all right. So he is going to stick with his first run score for sure.
Wait, he didn't do it on purpose, but he went and gathered some data.
No, I take back what I said. He really did do some data gathering on that one for sure, which, you know, foreseeably, depending on how Jared rides, could help him. But you never know.
So just cruising past that skiddo, that is what's on the line. It's a case of look at what you could win every time you finish this run.
We'll get Sandbech in the lead with the 91. We'll get a score after Jared Elston drops, but Jared needs to do some work here.
He's far from safe here.
Yeah, as he said, he got lost up there. He thought he was going to be further riders left. And then all of a sudden, he's on top of that big double. And
further riders, like you think he was going on top of the brick?
Yeah, that's what he said right there. He goes, he's like, I thought I was going to come out further left.
Oh, so he wanted that big cliff.
I believe so.
That's a really good omen. So Liam Griffin, he spent 2 days up at the top there, wrapped up in the Arc'teryx gear. Calls in Jared Elston.
So Jared has to put up a big score right here if he's going to advance.
Off the side there, are we going to see the chicane again, or is he going to go pole jam?
No, passing the Dustin's middle finger. Cruising far out to the rider's left.
Oh, here we go.
It's a hard position to be in because you know you pretty much need to be flawless right now.
He does. I mean, he absolutely has to be flawless. He cannot have a sketch in this run, and he has to put himself on a big face, which it looks like he's making his way towards.
And as we saw from Blake, just don't put the brakes on, top to bottom this.
Front 3.
Okay.
Through.
Oh!
Bit of pruning, but he keeps the pace somehow.
Wow.
Little stop there. Look how steep it is.
Tight and steep. Okay.
Back 3.
Okay.
Oh my God, just missing that tree. This is gnarly.
Now we've seen Craven come in through here, and we've seen Jared on an earlier run. This is steep.
My gosh, this angle is frightening.
Look at the slough. Just billowing down over these spines.
Look how steep that is. Yeah, so
Wow.
waterfalls on either side of him.
Wow.
Lot of elevation to drop now.
Well, there we go.
Okay.
Tapping.
Okay, he's gonna make it through, and he pulls
Holy
it.
smokes. Jared Elston holding nothing back.
Listen to the crowd down here.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
It's a good ad for that pro model.
How did that board not fold?
When Jared Elston finishes a run and goes, wow, you know it's gnarly.
Gigi's straight up there.
Oh my God, that speed, that was, to stay on your feet through a line like that, no speed checks, is incredible.
The control, that's a control of chaos, a deft, knife's edge controlled chaos.
That's a
It was
good
beautiful.
description.
Okay, switchback 5 to start from Starlight.
All right, so then, Stolly struggled by hitting that tree on the crippler. And then he came through here and struggled. So Jared, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
See the tail of the board dragging over
Yeah.
Crazy.
So Jared's going to win this round, no doubt, hands down. But
is he going to win this?
Is it going to win?
He'll win the battle. I don't know if he's won the war.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be tough to see. Let's see.
7.
Oh,
we didn't spot that. He's so sneaky at
Wow.
sliding those in. He did it in the first run. And then this.
Oh, that was a
great
7.
angle here. Does he come off the nose? Because we couldn't see this from the
There we go.
There he
Wow.
goes.
Wow, just hanging on. That is so
Incredible
fast.
control to redirect
Yeah.
that precisely on
Look at
terrain
that.
that steep.
So coming in so hot.
I mean, I feel like that was a fitting,
End to that
I
run,
mean, it's
yeah.
like, go big or go home, boxer, body bag.
Okay, before it comes up, what do you got? I'm sticking with Starlight.
I think it'll be tough to beat a 91, to be honest, but it's got to be pretty close. Oh, there we go.
71 for Jared, 50 for Starley, but it's the 91 from Starley that will hold it. So Jared Elston, semi-finalist, once again, couldn't quite make it to the finals. Starley Sandbech, his first time at Natural Selection since 2021, if memory serves. Since Jackson Hole, when he went out in the early rounds. So this time he makes finals. Absolutely. Just the most entertaining snowboarding we could hope for.
I mean, this is a really exciting finals, too, because I think there's a lot of similarities between Blake and Stahle's riding. I mean, they both are very extemporaneous, and they can adjust to terrain so well, and they have solid landing gears.
Yeah.
Different approaches, but I think there's some crossover there.
My big question is, again, we know that Stahle has a good read on that line that got him the 91. Is he going to go back into that zone, or is he going to try to go farther riders left, like kind of to where he kind of got lost in this round? So that's the big question to me.
Yeah, it feels like we've got two riders coming together. We can check out the bracket now while Starley makes his way through the high fives and daps. It feels to me like you've got Blake Moller, who started off in Big Mountain, and then through his exposure to Utah and the high level of talent there has added more and more freestyle into his game. Starley, starting out hard freestylers, now added more and more Big Mountain backcountry to his game. And now we see them meet each other in the final. Jared Elston and Gigi Ruff put to the sword in semi-finals. And we have almost two rookies in the final. Now we're going to check in with Skidoo and take a closer look at the Summit Access sled that Skidoo have put up for grabs for the winners. We know that it's Elena, Hight and Spencer O'Brien, which they'll be taking it, or it's Blake Moller and Starley Sandbech.
I got you.
Total. Thank you so much, Mary. Let's take a closer look at that Summit X.
This is the first time that I've been able to use a sled that has a digital panel on the screen. I found it super easy to use, see all of my configurations, and really personalize it to my riding, especially when you're riding the goggles, to be able to look down and see everything. I really thought it made the ride a lot nicer. Riding a turbo is new for me, especially coming off of a Gen 4 sled and now going into a Gen 5. I feel like it really levels up my ability on the snowmobile and makes me feel like a much more confident rider out there. The best part about using a sled to access terrain is that it's super fun on the way up and not just on the way down. One thing I love about snowmobiling is really the sense of safety and security while I'm challenging myself out there, being able to bring a bunch more gear with me. It gets me to places that I would not be able to be with more people, and I think that's what makes it so special, being so deep out there in the mountains.
When the Hawks need a clean shave, they reach for the Chairman Pro by Manscaped, equipped with skin-safe technology and dual blade heads.
Wonder if my dad's ever had one of these.
Tony Hawk with a mustache. A very different commercial. We ride motorcycles now. Hawk Hogs. Shaken and stirred. Talon.
Injured?
So are we.
No.
The Chairman Pro by Manscaped.
Hey, what's up everyone? It's Travis and Cam here. You might have already heard, but we dropped an amazing marketplace app called Sendy last year. It's buy, sell, or rent adventure sports gear anywhere in North America.
I'll still be here standing.
Welcome back to Revelstoke Mountain Resort. This is the YETI Natural Selection, and it is finals time. $25,000 for the women, $25,000 for the men, and a Skidoo Summit X sled. Spencer O'Brien versus Elena Hight. Elena, one of the most decorated snowboarders in natural selection history, will have the privilege of riding first here. I'm not sure that there's any advantage. I mean, Spencer will get to see a run, but it feels like they've taken really different approaches.
Yeah,
to
I
this
think,
venue.
and they both have different lines that they're two different zones that they're going into as well. So, man, right now it's just a race against. There is a storm system that is moving in rapidly into this area. So, honestly, I think whoever goes first has the better light.
Okay, Arc'teryx are going to be stoked though. Both their riders made
Yeah, how's that?
finals. Okay, Elena Hight. You can see her there, laser focused on this line. She actually took a leaf. I was really surprised watching her take a leaf out of Sarka's book and hit that first kicker. I thought that she'd drift a bit further over into that exposed terrain, but
it may be that exposed terrain may be pretty pounded out at this point too. A lot of runnel going into it. Some of those landings that were pristine in the first round are probably pretty blown out at this point. And it is dumping.
yeah, it's starting to come in, isn't it? And I think it was Elena who said it at the end of the semi-finals, like visibility is an issue up there. 100%. So you see her center herself, just big exhalation.
Elena Hight, the first to ever do on the women's side of things a double cork in the half pipe.
And a 9.
Yeah, that was
I think when she was like 13.
Yeah. And that just catapulted her into the spotlight, didn't it? And then all of a sudden you saw her up there with Hannah Tita, Gretchen Bleiler.
But what's so wild about her, I feel like, is when she transitioned into the backcountry, she looked so natural, like she had just been there her whole life when she had spent most of her career previous to that between two half-pipe walls.
And I think as well, you saw with her sitting, almost doing an apprenticeship under Jeremy Jones. All of that incredible, because pipe often gets called, you know this, Todd, like it's a race between the coping. There's two elements to it. Yeah, there's the physical aspect or the acrobatic element above the coping, but your edge control under the coping has got to be so good.
You've got to be so on point. And the one thing, you watch Elena in between the features that she's going to hit here, and her turns, like it looks flowy.
Yes.
We've seen it with a couple of the riders where they're just scrubbing or falling leaf down between stuff.
Right.
And Elena will always keep it edge to edge.
And that's what I mean about Elena. Like, from the moment she touched down in this kind of terrain, she made it look like it was just this innate part of her. Like, she doesn't struggle. She just looks so at ease in the mountains.
So, last couple of seconds before she drops
And
it.
this is big. 2 runs for it all right here.
And she just moved to Wyoming, so I'm sure, you know, she's looking at that new snowmobile possibility.
It's like, yeah, I could do with the Skidoo. Okay. Second at overall natural selection in 2023. She was the overall champ in 2022. X Games gold in halfpipe in 2017. And let's not forget, I mean, you
Couple
go back.
Olympic Games under her belt.
6th place in Turin in 06. So it's a 2-decade career. Right, we can go to Hannah right now. She's up the top. What's going on there, Hannah?
You guys, it's the finals. The girls are, you know, they're going to put out everything they got. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what these girls are capable of. I'm impressed every single run. They're really, you know, leveling up. Seeing spins, we're seeing gnarly lines. You know, we're working with some subpar conditions, but it is great up here, and the vibes are high. Eye of the tiger.
Thank you so much, Hannah. You talked about this earlier, Mary, that we've seen so many women getting dragged up and through this process. Watching the semi-finals off screen, I was struck suddenly by the fact that there are no weak links in the women's field. Like, we've seen strong head-to-head matchups all the way through.
Completely. I mean, it is very rare that you get to see this kind of progression run live and see the evolution. And Elena Hight is part and parcel of this. Oh my
9 attempts?
gosh. Okay.
What?
Talking about leveling up.
She just sat still for 4 minutes there and then rode straight into that.
Whoa, just chucking roast off the top. Front 9. I mean, I'll argue that maybe she overcooked the front 7 off of that, but who cares? Just go with it.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's what's in Elena Hight. That's her innate snowboarding talent. It's incredible.
Okay, paying homage to Hannah Beeman on top of this high beam zone. Actually going past it, so she spotted a new cliff here. Oh, she's just getting dragged a little bit.
There's a lot of snow moving. The slough management out here, you can see just how steep that is.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Beautiful little pocket right off the front of that ridge.
And she made that look really casual. Like, it's not often you see Elena hesitate for a second at the top, letting that slough run over, taking stock of things, and then she just dropped that and made it look so easy.
That is heartbreaking, because if she'd have landed, whether it was a 7 or a 9 up at the top and laced it into that line, that would have been the complete line.
Yeah.
Not only did she have the tech of freestyle and big mountain, but it was creative. It was a fresh line that she'd left.
That was wild. My whole face broke on me.
Wow, that whole nose that she got on top of.
Just setting into that jump and just letting it breathe. Just set it and forget it. Just see how many times you can go around in a circle.
That is brilliant, though, because what Spencer O'Brien has seen up at the top there is a front 9 potentially.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean, heck of a range find for finals right now, if you take it that way.
Yeah, straight back up to the top, and we're going to see Spencer O'Brien try to answer back. And you're right, Ed. It's like, you know, she doesn't know.
Okay, we can take a look back now to that Boa dialed in moment from day 1 from Elena. Just see what she did, the work she got done on day 1. She's starting to approach the same level. This is beautiful. That front 3, she knew exactly where she was, but...
I can't get enough of this clip. It's so sick.
Like skydiving onto the top of another massive line.
And to your point earlier, Ed, like Elena's was just starting her kind of path into the backcountry when she first came into natural selection the first year of the contest. I mean, and looking where she is now, it's really incredible. She was good when she started, and she just keeps leveling up every single season.
Yeah. Well, to have spotted that line, I love the fact, I'm pretty sure she would have had that line we just saw there up her sleeve for all of the morning. And she's like, I don't need it yet, I don't need it yet. So Spencer O'Brien, she's seen a couple of big hits, and you can already see a spin being visualized. Spencer, regular footer, so it looks like she's going cab 5, I would say.
Maybe. It looks like she's kind of telegraphing something here. No,
Yeah.
it looks like, well, yeah,
Dropping
maybe
in
she's
switch.
coming. Switch 540. Spencer O'Brien holding on to it. Nice.
Out in some fresh snow.
Okay, she's got to get on top of something pretty gnarly right now.
Yeah, it's kind of deceiving. The riders get pulled over into this section that's really beat up.
And it's for an area that's cruddy and beaten up, it's super steep.
Yeah.
So you're getting less and less purchase. She finds her way through those spines, though, and back out onto the top of the ridge. Really nice navigation there. Kept it smooth. Now you've got the high beam zone below her.
Yeah. How many landings are left off of these rocks? There we go.
One more, apparently.
Wow. Okay, that was really nicely executed.
It's not done yet. Spencer, another little air. That's it. She has the
Wow.
advantage now going into run number 2 easily.
Yeah, great run for Spencer O'Brien.
Kicking up cold smoke. She makes her way down into the finish. big line. And I always feel, having watched Spencer compete in so many different competitions over the years, when she finds her flow, when she hits her stride, she is so unbeatable.
Oh, you made me.
You
Yes,
made me.
Spencer's just like, I don't know what you did.
Yeah, baby. So sick.
How strong is the riding? Cab 5s from, I think, 3 of our semifinalists.
That was
Wow.
insane. You know, she was just going for the front 7, overcooked it a little bit, and just was like, I'm going to go with it.
So that face above her had broken off, but she still manages that beautiful little double.
Yeah.
Where that dividing ridge just finishes. Here's Spencer with the cab 5.
A little bit of a hand drag, but I mean, that's not going to dock her that many points. And then getting on top of this section right here. I mean, that was well done.
Yep, Spencer O'Brien easily took this one. Now, the riders each get another chance to hit this section. It's going to be interesting to see if Elena just goes straight back into it and tries another trick up top. 77.3 as an advantage. I mean, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Scores are really, you know, it's inconsequential. We need to have a very strong run out of Elena Hight if she's going to take down Spencer O'Brien going into the second round of this. This is it. I mean, this is for all the marbles here, too.
Yeah.
No safety yet.
Skidoo and 25,000 bucks. And let's not forget, I mean, above all of the prize money, above the Skidoo, it's the bragging rights of saying that you've won natural selection. You are up against the world's very best snowboarders here. We've talked about it. You've got everyone from slopestyle, from half pipe, from big mountain, from backcountry filming backgrounds. They all come here, and this is where you prove that you are the best snowboarder in the world this year. So, first run of finals. It's our rookie at YETI Natural Selection, Blake Moller out of Edwards, Colorado, going up against that Zen style master out of Oslo in Norway, Stale Sandbech. Stale to drop first.
Yeah, we saw Stale put on a clinic up top here, really linking features together. He's going to go switch 5 first. Nice switch 5. Watch him as he kind of hips off of this. Well, no, more diving board style. Front 5. Dude, his landing gear is on point.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Nice half cab. So Stale up top just rode that like a park.
Yeah. It made that look so easy.
And now this is where we put the big boy pants on.
Back 3 into this one.
Oh, hold on.
Stale.
I love what he's thinking.
Yeah.
That was immense. Kind of backside shifty over that little pillow.
So door's open. I think the door is open for Blake.
This is true, but that's where that high risk score is going to come in when you're trying to spin off of the top of a band like that.
Oh.
That is so consequential. The judges are not going to overlook that.
A little bonus back 5 here towards the bottom.
I think Stale was actually creating side hits on some of those pillows.
Yeah. A little back 5 palate cleanser. You guys forget about what I just did right there. Just remember the back 5.
It's hypnotic, isn't it? He's doing his best car impression from Gum Jungle Book.
It's for the kids. Do it for the kids.
Okay, so Stale, first round of men's finals. The top was perfect. It was so good. Another, you called it, Todd, a clinic.
Yeah, it was a clinic. And just because, you know, there's one way to look at it. You land one big trick, right? And the rest of your run is kind of like, filler. He went back to back to back up top, and that's what you have to do. I mean, the judges are all kind of came from freestyle background. So he's playing to that strength.
Okay. Stale Sandbech waiting at the bottom. Before we go up to the top to find Blake Moller, let's have a little flashback and enjoy what he put down on that Hail Mary run from Qualifiers yesterday.
Wow, this was a moment yesterday.
Back 7 into the Satan flip.
Satan
Laid out.
The creep flip into a giant, I'm just going to go with it, front 5.
Yeah, it was a front 3, spontaneous adjustment to front 5. Okay, Blake Moller. It's definitely coming down now, isn't it? There's a decent bit of snow here. So Blake just waiting for the go from Liam Griffin.
And those tracks that are in from everyone else's landing, they do help to add definition. I will say that. It's easier to kind of spot your landing when there's some tracks in it.
Okay, so Liam Griffin giving Blake the all clear.
Rookie. Natural selection rookie with the moves. Double backflip.
What? All right.
I mean, every single hit is different. He's not repeating anywhere.
Oh, this kid is on fire. Edwards, Colorado, right down the street from Vail. I mean, geez Louise.
That crew will be going nuts. His older brother Griffin was a skier on the Freeride World Tour as well. He'll be losing it watching this. Up on top of something big.
He's got some good turn skills too, making, you know, the little check turns look stylish.
He's on the corner of the brick here. He's got a lot of exposure below him.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay.
Makes it onto this bench.
If he can hang on through this.
This is where we saw Nils Mindnich.
That does not look steep. Oh my Lord.
He found the transition. He just hooked a little bit on his heels, didn't he?
Okay.
Okay, all right. So, based on the double backflip, based on that little butt check, I'm going to have to give the advantage to Ståle Sandbech on run number 1.
Yeah, I think
I think it's going to be minuscule, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you said it, Todd, in the top, Ståle made it look like a park run, which is a
Right.
fluidity that, you know, is likely going to be rewarded.
But
it wasn't as big.
No.
I mean,
Yeah, sorry, Mary.
No, I was saying, if looking back at this, I'm really excited to watch the top of Ståle's run, but also the bottom of Blake's run.
Something to notice too, Ståle he towed in on that switch 5. He dug his toes into that kicker, and that's how he initiated it. It's infinitely harder to dig your toes, especially in powder, to initiate a 540.
And this, oh, sorry, that's the back 5 at the bottom, but the back 3 into the exposure.
Yeah, that was
that was a huge
about that.
statement.
Yeah, that was crazy, because not just taking advantage of the drop, but really putting some consequential trick in. And that was absolutely huge, but is it enough to kind of overtake what Ståle did? I'm not positive.
I think the exposure on this, we saw Nils Mindnich here before. Like, that is gigantic. It's absolutely huge. And he's bouncing through it and then takes off, launches himself, finds that transition, but...
I mean, he almost had that. That was close.
His quads have stood up to some huge impacts over the last 24 hours. Okay, it's going to be tight, but they're what might have been scores, aren't they? Nothing clean yet. Oh, I say that. Judges absolutely loving the exposure and the fluidity. You called it, Mary. 80 points for Ståle Sandbech. Blake Moller on a 68.6.
That's a decent advantage, but knowing what Blake just gained from his little exploration over there, this could be devastating. 2 completely different approaches to the face.
This is what we came for, isn't it? You've got 2 completely different style of rider going toe-to-toe.
Yeah, and there's no safety there. But like I said, I do think that there is a little bit of that extemporaneous improvisation they both have, coming out from completely different styles. But that ability to adjust to the terrain is kind of a bit of a crossover for those 2.
I think that word was made up, but what I'm looking at is where Blake took off. The landing is kind of over here, and it's such a little powder pocket that he has to clear to land in there. It's insane. The amount of sniping that needs to be done. Does that trump, 3 tricks back to back? We had the toe 5 up top, into the front 5, into the 3. Like, that's like, where are we going here?
Does it trump it if Ståle can land the 3 off the drop?
Yeah,
though?
that's
what we're looking at.
That's
right
a
here.
complete run. That's a full make.
That's what Blake is looking at, and I think if there's someone that can step to that, he's shown throughout this entire competition that he is the one to do that.
And this is the tough part for the judges. Blake is so direct at the top, and the tricks are big. Ståle is just playing.
Yes.
He's having that little, it's around the houses, but he's really enjoying himself. And they both look beautiful. in all fairness. Now, this gear on this side of me, I always get that wrong. This is the Arc'teryx gear that you can win, which means the QR code is down here somewhere. Go on, put it up for me. Yes. The QR code, scan that, and you'll go in the draw to win this Arc'teryx gear. You'll get it in your size, obviously. Head to toe, decked out in some of the best, warmest, and driest gear in the business. And that's not all. You'll also be in the draw to win 2 Icon passes for 2025, 2026. Todd's got his out here. Check it out.
Have you guys heard that I have an Icon pass?
No, I hadn't. That's incredible.
Get access to so many resorts. It's great.
Okay, if you haven't seen it already, go and check out Every Island Has a Name on YouTube. It's the latest Arc'teryx movie. Jared Elston, Elena, Hight, and Severin Vandermeer, who went out yesterday, unfortunately. Check it out now. In the meantime, though, it's Elena Sens.
Worn when it counts. Arc'teryx.
Every great force begins in stillness. Above, the sun fuels all life. Below, the ocean holds the seeds of something extraordinary. At T80, we ignite a different seed. Plasma, nurturing it with precision and power until it becomes a force of nature. Like the ocean, fusion energy harnesses fundamental forces to shape plasma into waves of pure energy. Magnetic fields contain this super hot energy cloud, releasing heat and electrons naturally, cleanly, endlessly. Fusion is the future, transforming energy, industry, and the world. Catch the wave of the future with TA.
Welcome back to the YETI Natural Selection. 5 years going strong with the best in the business. YETI looking after us since the very beginning. We've got $25,000 and 2 Skidoo Summit X's up for grabs in these second and final runs of the 2025 YETI Natural Selection. Elena Hight is going toe-to-toe with Spencer O'Brien. And then on the other side of the draw, we have Blake Moller and Starlate Sandbech with the men. It all comes down to this. Elena with a slight lead ahead of Spencer at the moment.
Centering herself, getting ready. You know, she went for that big spin up top, kind of overcooked it a little bit.
And then redeemed herself.
Redeemed herself.
At the bottom, she did that double line, which was so awesome. And I think she, that falling on the top jump really, put her back into focus.
Okay, is she going to go?
It's a great motivator, having to go to the bathroom.
She's going to ride this line really fast.
She's so relaxed, isn't she?
Yeah.
It's lovely to see. There's no tension there. Reminds me of, you knew when Jamie Anderson was dancing in the gate that she was going to have a scorching run.
Yeah.
The more relaxed, the more fun she was having, the better she
Well,
rode.
it's like when you have that attitude, like you're in the driver's seat, right? Like that that gives you this added amount of like power to take into your run.
So here's a question: Will she?
That was the front seven being visualized. there again.
That's what I'm saying. Will she? She's going to try to rebate that, right?
No one looks that far over their front shoulder for a front three.
All right, here we go.
Good time to learn double.
Get it.
Oh,
so
just
close.
Bounced, and I think that was literally just because she's landing on all that hard snow, just got bounced out of the landing.
If it had been tiny bit softer in there, look at that beautiful tail grab.
Yeah, solid tail grab off that pillow.
I love this angle. You can see just how steep it is through here. Fluting below her now.
A little ollie over the tree, exposing a tree.
Just bouncing through those spines.
Oh, there's a nice little takeoff.
Yeah, I keep wondering if anybody's going to go that way, although that landing is pretty flat. Like, okay, she's putting herself on top of some exposure.
Going back to that same double, now that the snow is released on this section, she can get in here cleanly and with a bit more flow and pace.
Yeah, she got a bit sloughed out on her first run, having to pause. There she is again, kind of just catching her breath before she drops in.
Coming in higher this time. Bigger
we
drop.
go. Get it.
Oh!
Okay.
Stood up on it just, but she took it way more full line.
Yeah, bit of a Baker maker, Take it. I'll take it. Elena Hight. Yeah, I mean, just showing her skills in that scary terrain.
Love that toe side turn on the way out as well. That was.
Yeah, she dug it in there.
Listen to that crowd. Man, it's so dope to have the crowd there.
Shift control 5. I want that as a screensaver.
Yeah, that crowd making noise for you as you come out of the trees or as you put yourself on top of something is a great motivator.
Victory lap.
So Elena's saying she thinks Spencer's got a victory lap.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. I think Spencer O'Brien has the advantage going in here, but she definitely still needs to throw down a run. But that's great because we could see something kind of a little more adventurous from Spencer off that first hit.
Now, this would be huge for Spencer. If she can take the win here, it opens up. Yeah, she's got so many chapters in her snowboarding story already, but this is going to be another huge one for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Spencer leading. Couple of big hits in there, though.
Yeah, so Elena, she starts off, she tries to rebate the front 7, but kind of gets bounced out of that. So that was a full fall. But then the whole middle section was nice flow. She had a big tail grab. She kind of ollied that little tree. Good middle section. And then in the end, put herself on that exposed face, but kind of had a bit of a struggle in that landing. Didn't really lose any speed, but it wasn't as clean as it could have been. And now Spencer, who's already in the lead, has a chance to even up her score more.
Light looks a little bit better right now, too.
Yep.
Spencer with that cab 5.
Love that little hockey spit before we get started. That's when you know she means business.
The exhale.
I love that. I've watched her do that both times.
Get in
this
the
final, just
shake
shake out the tension.
hands.
Everyone's got their thing, in the start gate.
Cab 5 again.
Yeah, she's doing the visualization, getting the shoulders ready. Got the fist bump to Liam. Here we go.
You just want it to look good too for all the crowd. Yes, Spencer.
There it is.
Nice
Stomps.
and clean. Cleaner this time. Going a zillion miles an hour.
And you could hear it.
Little
big exhalation. She took a couple of those hits on the.
All right, nice air off the pillow. Keeping her speed.
It's really flowing, isn't it?
Okay, where's she going?
Having a game of hide and seek with Gab on the drone.
Oh, here we go.
On her heels.
She's making her way. Riders left under that cliff band.
I love this. Like the creativity going through the roof now.
Oh, I can't get over there.
Oh.
Shit.
She wanted to go further. Riders left, but couldn't get over there, as we heard on her mic. Okay, so she didn't quite get the bottom line how she wanted it.
But still, I think that she, the upper line that she had didn't have as many things going on in there as far as airtime as she did in her first run.
Yep.
But I still think that this is going to be an easy walk away for Spencer O'Brien.
I mean,
so Spencer, she comes down to the applause of the crowd. She put the pressure on Elena Hight in the first run.
I fucking totally missed that.
Pump it up for the women indeed.
She did enough in that first run, potentially, but we need to see these second run scores.
Let's see those replays too. I want to see how close Elena Hight came to stomping that front 7.
So here it is. She fully bounces. Yeah.
Oh, she's still leaning a little bit too much onto her heels and bounces out. This
look
was
at that.
adventurous.
Yeah, look at that face. That is. Oh. But it didn't even slow her down. A little roll up the window. Nice toe side.
It's that one's beautiful, isn't it? One of the best turns I've seen. This though.
Look at this.
2 in a row for Spencer.
Just beelining it out of that.
Smoother this time as well. But then she was trying to cut over to put something big at the end of her run and just kind of got lost. Wasn't able to put herself on top of that cliff band.
Yeah. But granted, she did stay on her feet the entire run, and I'm interested if that will actually be.
I don't think it's going to be higher than her first run.
I don't either. So again, even if it's not, I think that's
77.69 from the first run, 73.65. So no improvements on the second runs. Spencer O'Brien is your YETI Natural Selection Champion of 2025. Let's hand it down to Stan. Spencer, the tears are flowing now. How beautiful is that?
Spencer, incredible showing. That's got to feel incredible. I think there's been a lot of maybe questions back and forth about the judging today. Are they looking at that freestyle? Are they looking at more of the cliffy, big drops? How do you manage that going into a final run against a competitor like Elena Hight?
Dude, I just Elena coming out the blocks there with that front 7. I was like, yeah, what are we doing? Let's go. So really props to her for just always pushing in, and she's always pushed me so much and inspired me so much. And we've been friends for 20 years. This is such a pleasure to ride with her today. And I really tried to get over, and I missed my spot, but whatever. I'm really stoked. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, you definitely had a cleaned up 5 on that second run, but of course, a Canadian. We're at home in Canada. What does that feel to take this win? Natural Selection Champion here at home.
Yeah, I'm just in shock. Coming back to competition was so hard, and to do this here at home was really special. So thank you, Canada. Love you guys.
Congrats, Spencer. That was awesome.
Well, the fairy tale story is complete. She lost out to Mary Round in the Jewels in 2024 and then got a wild card for this year. She's gone from wild card to winner.
That's what you want to see, right? If you get the wild card, you want to deliver on that.
Wild card to winner. Spencer O'Brien takes it all.
You know what her dad's called as well? Brian. Brian O'Brien. And he rips. Go and check him out on Insta. Back up to the top.
Oh, here we go.
Starley Sandbech versus Blake Moller. This one is all to play for. Small mistakes in both their runs, but Starley packing so much into his. He's going to roll these Oakleys down the course one more time.
I want to see the subtleties of the takeoff of this first jump, because being that a lot of the judges, actually all the judges, all had their starts in park riding and freestyle, they will definitely be paying attention to the added difficulty if he is in fact leaving off of his toes.
So
there we go.
And he does again. Cab 5 melon off the toes.
He landed that like a park jump.
Front 3.
Big front 3.
And he really leans over that toe edge even on that one.
Yeah, Starley is, he has a completely different style when he's riding slope style as well, like the edges that he chooses to lean.
Oh, he's got hung up.
What is going on there?
Okay. Got hung up in that steep little section there. He's on top of high beams coming in on the side of this now.
Oh, what?
Yep. Yep.
Get it.
Yep.
Oh, man, that's a sick line.
How incredible is it that he's been fluffing around on the other side of that big channel there, and then he just pops across. His terrain read, the 7 7 on the way
back
out.
7 on the way out. How did he get that around? Stale Sandbech.
80 points on the board. But I feel like he's left the door wide open
He
for Blake
has,
Moller.
especially if Blake. See, I think like Blake goes to that double, which, yeah, it's impressive, but honestly, it's not as difficult as hooking your edge into a powder takeoff. It really isn't.
Yeah, I agree.
I love the fact Stale, there wasn't a layup in sight. He came out swinging for the fences with that second run.
And that final drop that he did was really creative. Like, we haven't seen anybody like look at that zone the way he looked at it.
His first run was better. I'll give him that. It was a more solid run, more solid risk. So
we've seen a few riders get into that high beam zone, but cross-courting into it that way was just beautiful.
Yeah, that was really cool.
All right, so Blake has every trick in the book, right? Yeah. Is he gonna go? Is he chucking? Like, was the double to kind of suss out what it would be like to chuck a double cork off that first hit? You know what I mean? Like, just like
he's got 10s.
He's got
double
10s.
10s.
Easy.
I think he's probably going to throw the double, just straight double backy at the top again, but he's just going to want to clean up the bottom of his run. But this is...
Is there like that transition was so sniper though?
Yeah.
On the way out of Nils Cliff.
Okay, so Stale has an 80, and here's the deal. That's a good score, but we know that BMO is capable of bumping over an 80. So that's what's actually nothing is over yet. Like,
no.
This
is like
far from.
Stale is biting his fingernails to the bottom right now.
Everything comes down to this. I love the fact 2 years in a row we've got different winners. It shows you just how close the competition is for the men.
The final run of 2025 YETI Natural Selection right now.
Oh my gosh, man! I can't. I wish it was like 8 more hours. That's
the
the problem.
Rookie. I mean, the fact that this goes by so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, it means
way
that
too fast.
It's really fun to commentate and to watch.
You know what's amazing as well? There's a brilliant Colorado-Utah battle going on for support for BMO as well.
Oh, there you go.
Hails from Colorado, rides in Utah. They'll all be claiming him.
Let's see. Oh, what's this first trick going to be? Is he going to go up and over twice, just straight backflip, or is he going to dip that shoulder and hook into a 10?
More importantly, is any blood going to reach his feet? He's got those heel straps done up so tight.
God.
He's going to need it as well. The size he goes off this first hit.
The confidence crankdown of your bindings.
Oh man, I'm like channeling his nerves. I'm like, my heart rate is like going strong right now.
It all comes down to this. Either Blake Moller or Stale Sandbech are walking away with a Skidoo Summit X and $25,000.
Man, that's a good day right there.
Stale has no say in it anymore. He has the nervous weight at the bottom, while Blake Moller has it all to do.
The calm before the storm,
Yeah, this
as
is
they
going to be
say.
sick.
Both literally and figuratively.
He's got to find 11.4 points.
Oh, great. Oh, we have all this time. The suspense is killing us, and now you choose to clean out your goggles. Ay, ay, ay.
A lovely little tension breaker up at the top.
That's nice. That might be just what he needed.
Sarka down there with Stale. She's already cracked a bit of 10 barrel down there as well.
Here we go, the final run of Natural Selection, guys. This is it.
Pace in from Blake Moller.
Boom.
Get it.
Boom. Whoa.
Did you see the way he adjusted his body? Second flip there.
He popped so big off of that. Tapping.
Nice. Eye of the tiger over the nest. Wow.
Unbelievable. Again, he adds things. Every single run is different.
Strong start. Very strong start in the upper section. What's he got?
Heading for the same zone as Stale. Is he going to try the same transfer? Like
What?
for like.
No way. Get it. Oh my gosh. Get it.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
Oh my God.
He had that. He had it.
Oh.
Someone has just stolen all of your presents at Christmas.
He had that.
Heartbreak.
He was riding away, and then he got caught up like 20 feet after he kind of landed it, or about 10 feet after.
We're going to see some great replays from that run.
Man.
Can we go back in time?
Oh my gosh, what a capper to this event.
I love that. That was all or nothing from Blake Moller.
Yeah, boxer body bag.
Who back sevens like something like that?
Dude,
That's
that's so
like,
great. I was like, oh, he's gonna back 3 it. Whoa, and then he's back 7 corked. And man, he was so close. Like he landed it and just got caught up in some chunder on the way out, kind of leaning into that toe edge.
I can't wait for this. Look at it. Cab 5 off the toes. Just beautiful.
Big front 3.
Big front 3, nice boned out.
Remember earlier he broke that landing into that tree.
Was that a front 3 Indy, Todd?
No, it wasn't any. That was
That was huge.
But you're about to see someone try and back 7 that.
Right. And then Stale throws on the bonus back sev here.
Yeah. I mean, how is that possible?
Unbelievable.
Spinning like a top. All right, now here we go. The pop on this was insane. He had to open up and slow down his rotation. Landed it like a straight air.
I like this. The gap out, tap,
so sick.
Redirect.
Takes off the tree. Yeah, it took off the top of the tree.
Unreal. I mean,
the back sev.
Oh, here we go.
Banana town.
Dude, look how quirky he gets. Oh, look at that. He lands it. Oh, no. He got bumped off that small pillow.
Give it to him.
Oh, man.
That was the risk, you know, that risk factor. Just reckless abandon, basically.
And you don't see people get corked backside off cliffs like that. Like,
no.
Man, what's
my
it gonna
gosh.
be? This is...
Okay, so Stale's got an 80 from that first run. He had one small instability in there.
They just have to pick the winner. You know, like these scores are inconsequential at this point. Who do they think rode this terrain best today?
You could tell Stale's a veteran because he got all his sponsors in there, you know?
Yeah.
So no improvement on those second runs. Stale's first run score of 80
there it
will
is.
stand.
Wow.
Look at it. Stale Sandbech takes out the men's 2025 YETI Natural Selection.
There are not many people. I mean, Stale has stood on a lot of podiums, the Olympic podium, US Open podiums, but this is the one that carries the biggest bragging rights, I think.
Yeah.
And the Vikings out there together. Torgeir Bergrem jumps in.
The crowd, I love the energy down there.
Stan, our man in the finish area, is with Stale now.
Unbelievable performance today. You had the highest score of the day with a 91. Kind of two opposing riding styles here today to trick it, to go look for the biggest thing. I think, simply put, you out-tricked everyone here today. You had more tricks per capita. How much of that was a strategy going into it that you knew you had to do coming into this morning?
I mean, honestly, it was kind of spontaneous because we didn't have that much time from yesterday until this morning to look at it. But I mean, I know I can do like tricks, and that's like in my bag. And I was also kind of intimidated by going here first, like until I saw what the snow did.
Yeah.
And when I went there, I kind of got lost too. So yeah, I mean, it worked out, and yeah, I managed to put down some runs that I'm stoked on. And the first few runs, the snow was so amazing, and riding in there is just a dream. So, yeah, insane day, dude.
Totally, absolutely. I mean, as someone who came in a rookie of NST, but someone who may just have more podiums than in other contests than most of the riders that enter this. Talk about what it means to walk away from today, coming in as a rookie to NST, ending up the 2025 YETI Natural Selection Champion.
It's yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, after I decided to quit Olympic or the whole slopestyle tour and get into filming, and then having a couple years to not compete, and then coming back and yeah, doing it on the first one, it hasn't really gone up for me or whatever. What would you say? I'm out of words, man.
Yeah, well, yeah. Stale, congrats, man. That was an incredible performance.
Thank you.
Really great to see. Thank you so much. What a show.
Thank you. I'm emotional. Dude. I don't really get emotional, but now, yeah, this is cool, man.
Oh, look at him.
That's so sick.
Dad now too. Yeah. Dad power.
Starley Sandbech, your men's YETI Natural Selection champion in 2025. Look at the crew there.
Love it. He goes, I have a loss for words. I'm emotional and I don't get emotional.
Yeah, he is so Scandinavian. I want to throw a massive shout out to everyone watching in those pub beer 10 barrel brewing venues. The watch parties out there, we hope you've thrown down. We're mid-afternoon now, so there's no point in going to work. There's no point in going home. You can just celebrate with Starley and Spencer O'Brien. A massive shout out as well for all of the support that we receive from the Industry Alliance. YETI, Arc'teryx, Skidoo, Oakley, Boa, Blackstrap, Union Bindings, Libtech, Salomon, North Face, Arbor, Rossignol, Dragon, Remind Insoles, Burton, Anon, K2, all of you. They support snowboarding, so please support them. Stick around, we're going to have the YETI Natural Selection Natural Reflections post-show coming up just after this break when we'll pull all of the action from quarters, semis and finals apart. Don't go anywhere.
Nice riding, bro.
Just you and the waves of me. Sunrise awakes our seaside dreams. Barefoot traces on the mind. Echoes of our hearts go light. In your gaze, the tide is inside. Just you and the waves of me.
Max Worthington up here, cheap fun athlete representing Pub Beer. We're up at the Snaked Bank Slalom for the NST. The pros are gonna try to lay down some times today, and then it's up to the public and riders like myself to try to beat their times. So I'm gonna do whatever I can to slow them down.
There's Nils.
You suck! Come on, beam up! Yeah!
Oh, that was just public, my bad.
Ah! Got him!
Yeah.
I opened my mouth, I thought you were gonna try to like hit the upper region.
I could do that this round if you want. Yeah.
Down, yeah, I just kinda
You're used to the face shots.
Hey, is that clock running?
No. Sucker.
Dude.
All right, Max Warbington signing off here from the bank slalom. Time for some cheap fun.
Welcome back to Natural Reflections, the best named post show in the game. Yeah, we're looking back at all of the action from the 2025 YETI Natural Selection. Mary, Eddie, Todd in the booth. We got a full pull. What a day. That was majestic, Mary.
Majestic's such a good word for it. I would also say stressful, exciting, exhilarating. I mean, I've had so many emotions in the last 2 hours.
Yeah, that was insane. I mean, I haven't seen a final like that in a long time, and yeah, the riders just put everything on the line.
Yeah, and that's what we want to see, right? We're here to be entertained, and everyone delivered. And the best part about it is, it's not that contrived, pre-programmed run that we're used to seeing in competition. These riders didn't know what the heck was going to happen every time they dropped in. It was as close as you can get to having like a surf event where the ocean dictates what's going to happen all the time. They don't know what's going to happen when the riders drop in, and I think that's the best part about it.
And all of that new terrain that had been opened up meant that the venue was huge. There were so many different options. Now, Todd mentioned the surf there. Natural Selections expanded this year in 2025 to 3 new sports. So skiing will happen in Alaska in April. That will be brought to you with a live watch party from the studio here again. In January, we saw the surf take place. You can go and check that out on YouTube. There's 2 days of ridiculous action. But a couple of weeks ago in New Zealand, the first ever Natural Selection bike went down. Check this out.
A venue that is unlike any other we've ever seen in freeride mountain biking.
Look at that masterpiece.
Whoa.
Mother Nature is our main character here.
The best riders in the world. Creativity, connecting with land.
It's got that tech, it's got the big jumps, it's got the exposure.
Goldziak is on a tear. Kirsten Van Horn. Yes! Backflip heel clicker.
The course is so gnarly.
So I'm talking about.
This is what we need for the sport to grow.
If you haven't been sated for adrenaline already today, then definitely go and check that out. It's an unbelievable watch. Now, we're going to take a little look, if I can get this right. It's over this shoulder, I think. This is a beautiful piece of Mike Perillo's art. Mike Perillo's done each of the posters for the bike, surf, snowboarding and ski, and this one is absolutely glorious. It's been signed at the bottom by all of the riders. So head on over to naturalselectiontour.com and you can buy a limited number of those. This is the QR code. I can get my fingers on top of it. Ding, 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 ding. Scan that and it will take you straight to the merch page on Natural Selection Tour. Now, we're also going to take a quick look now at one of Natural Selection alumni's film releases this year. It's Kimi Fasani and her battle with cancer and simultaneously trying to navigate motherhood. This is a beautiful story.
Ready and action.
Kimi Fasani up next, a household name in snowboarding, beginning a new chapter.
Becoming a mother is a catalyst for radical change. We're not the same.
There's these opposing forces.
You are not making sense.
It's the biggest story never told.
Incredible story.
Yeah, and you know, the fact that just, you know, my wife and any mom that's out there, kids don't care if mom is sick. You know, the role of mom goes on and on and on. The fact that Kimi can balance all of this, I mean,
I saw an
Pisani.
amazing photo on social media this morning, which was a mum sat on the toilet with her pants down, and she'd got one child on her, one next to her, and the dog under her legs.
Moms hold the world together.
And they don't get enough credit. And I think one thing that Kimmy really exposed and helped to really up-level, and we see it with other moms in snowboarding and action sports now, is the ability to remain in snowboarding and be an athlete while navigating being a mother. And the movie really shows you that that's not all it's cracked up to be. It's really, really hard. And props to her for showcasing that and sharing that with everyone and really acknowledging how gnarly it is to be a mom. And props to all the moms out there.
Kimmy's the best.
Yeah, put the cancer to one side, just trying to continue a pro snowboard career. And she sat down with Donna, didn't she? Because there was a stage where contracts at one point, pregnancy was treated the same way that an injury was in your contract. So we know that that's changed now. You've seen so many women going through motherhood, Jamie Anderson included. That's why she took a year off this year to look after Misty. Right now, though, we can pull it back to YETI Natural Selection live from Revelstoke Mountain Resort. We're taking a look back in our natural reflections at the winning runs. This is the 77-pointer from Spencer O'Brien. Laid it down on the first run of finals.
You know, I really like that Spencer had her hand forced to go to her freestyle roots. You know, you can't play it easy here. And how deserved is this? She's stood on so many podiums, but this one has got to feel the sweetest.
Oh yeah, Spencer is so ascendant. We've seen her navigate herself into the backcountry and just keep leveling up year after year. And this podium does feel a long time coming. It's something really special.
And you know what's interesting is that Stale and Spencer kind of share a similar story of like highly competitive in slope styles and big airs, and then both kind of retired from that, went into the backcountry, and then now they're both standing on one of the most coveted wins ever. And speaking of Stale, let's run into some of his runs right here. 80.0.
Whopping great score from him. There's that cab 5 off the toes to start.
And this is the tree, right? Oh no, the 5.
No, that's his 5. And this run was just chock full of adventure.
Yeah, that was the 3 5s before anything else. That back 3 was so gnarly.
I loved, Todd, when you compared the top of his run to riding in a terrain park, you know, a controlled environment that obviously he's so at home at, and to bring that to this kind of venue, I mean, that foreshadows, you know, some really exciting stuff in the future, too.
But that's not, I mean, Stale is superhuman. Let's go,
Yes.
you know, get right to the point. Stale is not built like us. You know, he's built from that same fiber as like a Travis Rice or like a Terry Hawkinson. It's just like they have a different way of looking at things.
But like Travis, Stale mentioned it there. He's a dad now. Like he's taken a visible step back. You can see it in his pro models. He had those super stiff twin tips, and now he's come out with 2 pro models on Rome that are quite soft.
I
like
will
a little
say
bit more
this,
surfy.
Ed. I will say this, Ed, and going back to the Kimmy Pisani piece, I don't care, like, you could come back and be like, I won the natural selection. The mom don't care. She needs a break. You're taking this kid, I need a break. Like, and that is just across the board.
She's like, I'll take the trophy, you take the
She's going to take the skidoo.
You are
and
a
just,
dad. I don't care. Great. Natural selection. You're a dad. Take the kid.
Yeah. And speaking about dad strength too, I do feel like as a competitor, like once you have a family, it's like, oh, it's either you kind of like, okay, I'm going to step back and kind of chill, or it's like, I got to provide for these.
Caveman style.
Yes, I got to provide, so I'm going to win.
And he did that in some style. I mean, Blake Moller pushed him all the way, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say I am terrified of Blake in like a really exciting way, but I'm like very scared of
You should
him.
lead with that when you meet him.
I mean that as the biggest compliment, but I think he really did provide a worthy adversary for Stale. We didn't know it was happening until the very end, but I will go back and say about Stale, I think since he really kind of exploded and rose in the scene when he was 13, 14 years old, I will speak for all of us when I say we've been waiting for this part of his career, the backcountry Stale era, and this really brings all of that full circle, and momentum's only rising from here.
That is a great appraisal of it. Okay, let's take a look at our brackets. We can recap everything that went down today and see how they worked out. So Spencer O'Brien taking down Madison Blackley in the first of the semi-finals. Sarka Pancochova put up a very strong fight against Elena Hight there in the second of the semis. And those two going, you made the point that Elena forced Spencer into the freestyle realm. I felt like Elena, if she'd have stayed in the big mountain, didn't necessarily need to go and play there, but she wanted to.
But that's the beauty of this event, right?
Okay, we can turn it around to the men's now. This is what the bracket for the men looked like. They started in the quarterfinals. And every single one of these looked like a final. Mikey Ciccaerelli opened the door for Blake Moller, and that's what set him on his road. Nils Mindnich and Gigi, that was a battle for the ages. I think Torgeir Bergrem, if he could have landed anything, possibly could have taken down Jared Elston, but Jared putting it down when it counted. And Starley, Dustin, I mean, Dustin was no slouch in that round, but Starley was just on fire from the get-go.
And I think that, I just want to shout out Jared Elston's absolute monster go for it moment here today.
Yeah.
And that was so huge.
Yeah.
He just went for it.
And that's textbook Jared. I mean, he's one of the, there's no sort of like cruiser run or safety run. Like, he's going to put himself into, the gnarliest terrain possible.
He's basically parachuting.
Yeah, we love that. We love that about him.
There was a Jared moment, there was that Nils Mindnich moment, and there were 2 Blake Moller moments in that full, what I class as that kind of, it's almost extinct in a lot of snowboarding, that late 90s, early 2000s full send. I've got it in top gear and I'm just pinning it. Okay, it's your last chance now to put your hand in the ring for these. The Arc'teryx gear, head to toe in Arc'teryx gear. Just scan this QR code, ding, and you'll be in the draw to win a complete Arc'teryx outfit plus those 2 icon passes. Get it out again, Todd.
There's my icon pass. I got this, and I didn't go on about going to marketing. It's
and you can
great.
screen grab that, and
you can screen grab that.
And there you go. And then you too
can
have an
scan
icon
this
pass.
QR code.
You can have Todd's pass.
Yeah.
It'll be fantastic.
Everyone's me.
Okay, we mentioned the bike earlier on, but we've also got the ski coming up in, I think it's about 3 weeks' time. The event itself will happen in a weather window across the next 2 weeks up in Alaska. Same venues that we saw the snowboarding in 2022 when Travis and Torstein went at it. It's a mouth-watering prospect. Let's check in on Natural Selection Ski.
This is truly made for athletes by athletes.
The highest level backcountry freestyle contest on the planet.
Skiing and creativity in its most authentic form.
It's going to be way different than any ski contest we've ever seen before. Feels like a dream come true for me, honestly.
April the 17th, live on Rebel TV and Natural Selection YouTube channels, and probably a whole host of other places too. Keep your eyes out for that. Follow all of the Natural Selection social channels, and you will find out where it is. What do you got here for us, Eddie?
What is this?
Oh, well, I'm getting so amped that I'm going to go snowboarding now. So this is the Arbor Rain. This was developed in partnership with Pat Moore. It's part of Arbor's candle collection, which is their freestyle collection, and custom Natural Selection graphic here. And so, yeah, it's, as I said yesterday, camber powerhouse made for big jump lines and, of course, freestyle backcountry.
Chuck it over here. It says test the endurance of the human spirit for the Natural Selection Tour. But I want to see, yes, there we go. If I twist this a little bit, you can see, yes, this is my favorite bit, this embossed gloss across the middle. And it's a Chad Chomlak photo of some AK spines with that Natural Selection logo on it. Love that.
Embossed gloss.
Now, there is no guarantee that you can conquer this terrain if you buy this board, or is that, what is the deal?
100%.
Okay. Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah,
This makes you ride just like Pat Moore or an NST competitor.
Yeah, this is what Stan rode down the face, I think, right? Correct, or will be?
What it does, you can ride straight into that same cross-court cliff that we just saw Blake Moller do, and you can duck for a 7. It gives you that guarantee. You just won't be guaranteed of landing.
Yeah. Also, kind of sneak peek, this is the first time any human has seen the prototypes of the new utility binding at Arbor, but we're not getting into that.
Someone's getting fired.
Yeah. So, yeah, pretty rad.
Okay, that is pretty much us. The same storm that's been hitting Revelstoke is hitting California as we speak, so we're going to boost off and try and go snowboarding. Thank you all for joining us. It's been an emotional 2 days. We're absolutely spent. Closing thoughts, Mary, Todd, Ed.
You know, when a species gets introduced to an ecosystem and it just changes the entire paradigm and nothing is ever the same.
Yeah, an invasive species.
Yes, well, I mean, if we take away the invasive part, I think that's what natural selection is. We have seen the evolution of snowboarding shift in the past 5 years, and we are presented with a new status quo year after year, and we are seeing the seeds that were planted grow into something that just gets more amazing as we go on.
Eddie, Todd, you don't get a go. That was brilliant.
No, yeah, what Mary said.
Yeah.
What Mary said.
So thank you, Natural Selection.
Thank you so much for joining us. Head on over to naturalselectiontour.com. You can find all of the results and highlights over there. But right now, we're going to leave you with our favorite highlights from today at the YETI Natural Selection Tour. We'll see you next time.